I ain't tryna bring you down, but for real, you might as well give up now. Think you got a chance, but I don't see how. Got a real tight grip when I hold that crown. My life been good and bad and all around. The more things I lost, the more I found. One thing I taught myself to do, no matter the problem, refuse to lose. So, how you want it, man? You can choose. If you can't take the heat, don't light the fuse. See, I walk in slow and ignite the room. Like fire, everything I touch, I consume. I'm getting up while y'all just snooze. While you make breakfast, man, I'm on the move. I'm the first one in and the last one out. Whoever owns the place gotta drag me out. In me I trust, yeah, I smell like success, this Elon Musk, huh? Everybody wanna be like us, we don't stop, cause the top just ain't enough, huh? I ain't never gay, no, I ain't scamming, you know black men don't blush, huh? Came here ready to fight on this night, you better just run for your life. Won't you come and see what it's like, living by the rules that you write. You ain't know those lavish delights, now you had no back in sight. All the little lies you recite, just makes all the savage unite. Usually I'm very polite, but I'ma get savage tonight. Even when a dog being nice, every single dog gonna bite. You might think I'm wrong, but I'm right. Just let it get a strong appetite. I'ma let it breathe just a little, give it to you strong, heavy metal. I don't make a sound when I strike. You better just run for your life. Run for your life.
All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ward Radio live stream. I am your host, Cardinellis, and today I'm joined in the studio by Brittany the Shadow, as well as by Jonah Barnes, comedic editor at large. And we've got an important topic to discuss today. Jonah, what's going on today, man?
Yes, Bob?
I mean, I'm just going to read the title. Little prosperity preacher Mike Winger gets angry that big prosperity preachers do it better. We're just going to start out jumping right in.
It's the most savage title ever.
Yeah, we're going to just start by jumping right in to what's going on here, and then we're going to welcome all of the new members and respond to everybody's super chats. But ladies and gentlemen, we can't believe we saw this, but indeed we did. Mm-hmm. Once you start engaging and responding with some of these people, YouTube just thinks like, you know, it's the ex-Mormon and anti-Mormons. Once they leave the church, they can never leave it alone. Well, anti-Mormonism in the YouTube algorithm, man, like you can just like try and get rid of it, but it won't go away. And also, neither will Mike Winger. He keeps popping up in my feed. And I saw this, and I just thought, oh, heck no. Oh, heck no. So here it goes. Little prosperity preacher Mike Winger, JV prosperity preacher Mike Winger is getting angry, okay? He's getting angry that others are making more money than him, okay? And he's about to call up the Apologia Studios guys and try and have them organize another hit piece against us to defend him. But
because he won't do it himself.
Like they did the last time. But anyway, so here we go. We're going to check this out. This kind of blew my mind. Go.
You get that tithe in that church. You get that offering in that church. Whatever you do right now, don't you stop tithing.
For those who want abundance, $1,000. For those that want a new season, $120.
Jesus versus prosperity preachers. Jesus says, go sell all you possess and give it to the poor, and you will have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. Jesus, unlike prosperity preachers, he doesn't want the man's money. He wants the guy to sell everything he has, give it away to other people, just pick poor people, go give it away, and then I want you, come follow me. Jesus wants the man, not the money. Prosperity preachers want the money, not the man. That's the big difference. They say, give your stuff to me, sell what you have, give it to me. It's an investment. In fact, you'll get even more money in return, and all those kinds of promises that expose spiritual depravity in the heart.
You get that tithe in that church.
Okay.
Jeez.
So anything you guys noticed right off the bat? I got my opinions, but is there anything that you guys noticed right off the bat? Brittany, you're smiling.
Shadow?
I don't really have anything.
Oh, you don't?
to
Okay,
say.
cool. Well, you were smiling there. I was just like, oh,
Well,
what
I
did she
just
know?
like his. I don't know. I just like that guy how he talked. I thought it was funny.
Oh, yeah.
So,
That's true. Okay, Jonah.
I
hit
love
us.
I love that in the corner of the video the whole time it has incoming response and then Mike looking all like looking like thoughtful, like it's like incoming, like, hey, buckle up, people, because this is what you're waiting around for to get the great the great exegesis by our pastor Mike Winger. And now when I first heard this, I thought, yeah, well, he's right. I mean, about these prosperity preachers, they're despicable people. And then you, Carden, rightly pointed out, you're like, he's just the JV guy upset at the varsity team.
All evangelical Christianity in North America. Okay, this is my question. What is different than the millionaire Mike Wingers of the world, okay, than the billionaire Copeland and Hinn preachers of the world? The money. They're all selling Jesus. They're all trafficking in Scripture. You know what I'm saying? They're all like, okay, dog, I'm getting passionate. I'm trying to tone it down, All I'm saying is that when I see the Mike Wingers of this world, especially those that have come after us with their supposedly erudite approach to apologetics, all right? I don't see somebody who is really a free thinker. I see somebody who is trapped by their dogma because the dogma pays them. They are cash biased into just a less lucrative business model.
Trapped by the system.
Than the prosperity God. Like this brother right here, he's selling something.
He's at least he's open about it.
and you served your mission in, I'm just explaining my approach to this. You served your mission in Russia. And what did they tell you when you talked about transparency in American, politics and society versus the corruption in Russia and so on and so forth? What did they tell you?
They'd say, oh, we're just more open about our corruption. You guys have it, you just hide it. That's what they'd say.
And so anyway, what were your thoughts, bro? You were fuming. once I came up with the title.
I don't have... I want to like Mike Winger. He seems like a cool guy, actually. He seems like a nice guy.
He is Californian, and we are a cut above the rest.
That's
I
gotta
like
be
his
what it is.
glasses.
Yeah, he's an all right guy. Oh, who does he look like again? Who did we found that he looked like?
I don't remember.
He's a good-looking dude. He's a nice dude.
Kwaku did something.
He was wearing he has Lord of the Rings paraphernalia, so he's a brother.
And he's getting yoked. He was kind of yeah. He's a lot buffer now. In his more modern videos,
he doesn't have to work.
Ones.
He doesn't have to work a day job because he's sucking money from all the populace. But I just don't have patience for people. Jesus Christ performed this sacrifice for all of humanity, this free gift of salvation for everybody, and then these guys are like, not so fast. They're like, well, I'm sorry. You're going to have to punch your ticket with me. Just like the money changers in the temple. It's exactly like the money changers in the temple that Jesus was incensed about because they stood between the poor people and God's throne. And they were like, no, you got to check in with me and pay me money first. Jesus lost it on these guys and was whipping. He sat there weaving the cat o' nine tails. How long? This wasn't he sat there premeditating. I'm going to whip that guy so bad, and that guy right there, I'm going to throw his table around. This ticked Jesus off, and they're doing the exact same thing. They're standing between God and his people, making money off it, and it's just disgusting.
So for those of you who are just tuning in and don't understand why this rubs us wrong, first off, Mike Winger has come after the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints with a lot of tropes, similar to anti-Semitic tropes that exist in cartoons and in pop culture and things like that. There's anti-Mormon tropes. And just like anti-Semitic tropes get recycled by anti-Semites and neo-Nazis and things like that. Mormons, we have our anti-Mormons, and they recycle a lot of the anti-Mormon tropes. Well, one of the biggest internet anti-Mormons that recycles straw man arguments and tropes about the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is Mike Winger, and he makes a lot of money doing it. And that kind of rubs us wrong because in the Book of Mormon, which is one of the principal books of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the other Christian sect in North America and California with Mike Winger, even though they like saying that we're not Christian, we actually indeed are, and the Book of Mormon is a testament of Jesus Christ. But one of the things it condemns, doesn't condemn a lot of people as much as it invites them to come to Christ, but one of the things it does very widely and broadly condemn is something called what?
Priestcraft.
Yes, priestcraft. And priestcraft is making money by using basically the name of God, you know.
Profiting off of the blood of our Savior.
Yeah, exactly. And really, we take issue as a church, generally, with the North American business model of Jesus in evangelical Christianity.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you're really profiting off of God when your knowledge of God is actually meant to be something that helps you serve your fellow man, not make money off of your fellow man. And so when all of a sudden I hear small prosperity preachers that are making only hundreds of thousands of dollars go after the prosperity preachers that are making millions of dollars, methinks it's a function of jealousy, not of genuine concern, right? Do I go wrong, Jonah?
No, like remember David Alexander. Our friend David Alexander, who has he was an evangelical for almost 50 years. He founded his own churches. He was a preacher. He was a patron. He was everything in between. And he was the one who told us, he said, most churches in America, most of these mainline churches are just thinly veiled businesses.
Dude, it's brutal.
Savage, man. That's from his mouth, not from ours. And this dude knows evangelical Christianity better than Mike Winger ever will. And he says these are thinly veiled businesses, and they're just reshaping it in different ways to try to make money off the populace. And I don't think our Lord is going to appreciate people who do that.
And you've got data from the widow's mite on this guy?
Yes.
Okay, we'll start pulling that up. I'll pull it up on Discord as well. We've had a bunch of super chats come in. Brittany, keepers of the chat.
Well,
heiress of the show.
Hold on. First, Jonah Barnes here has to welcome 2 people.
Oh, shoot.
Really?
We got to put some W's in the chat.
Oh, okay. Who do we got to
I always
welcome?
forget. It's always ward business before the talks.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
Yes. All right. So we are thrilled to have PJ Serrano having joined the Ward Radio. What are we tonight?
We are the Ward Radio Warship
tonight?
Or the Ward Radio Wigwam or Wormhole.
Ooh, wow. The Ward Radio whatever, whatchamacallit.
The Ward Radio whatever.
We would like to welcome, this looks like is this a brother or sister? Or both. Maybe it's a couple. We would like to welcome brother and sister Serrano into the Ward Radio Wigwam. And all those who can welcome brother and sister Serrano, please do so by putting a W in the chat.
All right. W is going
welcome.
in
We're
the
so
chat.
glad to have you.
W for Serrano.
You know, and when you guys are so excited, I'm looking at the chat. When you guys are so excited that Brittany's here, it makes Carter and I feel a little bit bad.
Hey, Brittany,
you know?
you're getting some love in the
Just
chat. How do you feel?
It's just like any other day. I mean, I get a lot of love wherever I go. So.
Jeez. Oh, jeez.
Next, vanity and narcissism. No, I'm just kidding.
Better than Priestcraft, you know?
Boom shakalaka. You bring up a good point. Okay. Anyway, next one, Brittany.
No, it's Jonah's
Is this
job.
another member? Oh, we have another
that's
member.
True. Yes, we got another member.
Brother PC, which must stand for Priestcraft.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
PC.
you know what? There was this awesome Thai restaurant, and the owner, his name was PC. I just miss him. So I hope that's him. If you want a Thai restaurant, let me know.
Here he is. He's on the
awesome.
He's on
Rock
the video.
on. So, welcome in.
Welcome, Brother PC. All those who would like to welcome Brother PC into the Ward Radio Wigwam, please do so by putting a W in the chat.
All right. So we are going to put
WPC.
a W in. So there's PJ Serrano and then PC also, right?
Ooh.
Wow,
Very
this is kind of cool.
astute.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
Boom. Next one, Brittany.
Now it's my job. Okay,
Yeah.
ready? Corey Richmond. Love the show. Jonah, when you are not in the studio and calling in, there is a plaque with a picture of a World War II bomber on the wall behind you. What is the story behind that?
In a nutshell, my grandfather fought in World War II. He had he was a pilot for a B-17 Flying Fortress. He flew out of Foggia, Italy, and bombed Vienna. He got to choose his flight crew, and they were all LDS, actually. And on their 11th mission, they were shot down over Vienna. And he tried to make it to the Soviet Union, crashed in Hungary, and was taken a prisoner of war, and spent the rest of the war in a prisoner of war camp till Patton liberated him. And so that's my grandpa. I have that. I never knew my grandpa. He died when I was 3. But I have that plaque back there because he was a Chad. He was a super awesome dude.
Dude, that's crazy. Mine too, man.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it was like when I was 3. Literally.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He escaped the Nazis in Warsaw, Poland, fled into Hungary, was imprisoned there, then fled to Spain, imprisoned there, then made it to England and fought with a contingent of the Polish Brigade, helped invent parts of the radar,
Wow.
to help fight him, and came over to Florida in like the 50s with whatever discharge money they gave the Polish Brigade.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to me. One time there was this guy on Facebook who was saying things kind of misogynistic, and I put a mean comment on it, so I'm fighting Nazis just as hard as anybody
And
ever
fascists.
did. And fascists.
Yeah,
Those are real fascists.
Yeah, dude. That is hardcore.
Yeah, he was a hardcore dude. So he's one of my heroes, so I have his little plaque there behind me.
Wow,
Thank you for
that's a
asking,
tough
Corey.
act to follow, bro. That's a really tough act to follow, you know?
That was inspiring.
Yeah.
A little bit depressing. Thanks for bringing that up, Corey.
You know? Brittany, keep us up with the super chats.
Shy, I think it's Shy Hodgson. Brittany, missed you last stream. I'm cutting out 130 lowercase a's for my son's kinder class.
Oh, whew.
I am sorry. Help a sister out and bring your comedy A game tonight.
She's a super mom.
I mean,
Sister
130 lowercase a's. That's
Lowercase a? That's like the worst one.
a lot of curves.
That's not an
That's
I.
pretty
Yeah,
intricate.
that's-
I always thought the S with that little bottom that you had to cut out was always the hardest letter to try and make in a crafty fashion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
Brutal.
Godspeed, Shy. I will try. I will try to entertain.
Godspeed. You know what I'm saying? Help us out. Help us out.
Okay, I think that's it.
All right,
that's
so
it. We all caught up?
Yeah.
So to put things into context here, I threw a couple things in the. So there's this weird. This speaks to a larger problem in Christianity here today, and in the Discord there are 2 kind of white boxes from the Alpine Bible and from Ken Woodley. These are some blogs. When I went looking for this
Really?
online,
Is it this one right here?
no.
Okay.
You got to go up a little further. It's just
Okay.
underneath the video of Mike.
Okay.
And the first one is from the Alpine Bible, and it's an article said, Rethinking the Widow's Mite. And I read these articles trying to look for some kind of interesting insight into the widow's mite, and they all had a weird, creepy thing in common.
Really?
So this is just an excerpt. He says, the main point of the story of the widow's mite is not what most people have assumed. Have you ever noticed that Jesus does not praise the widow for her offering? He does not even encourage us to duplicate her behavior. He simply states what she did as a fact. So this dude goes on to be like, hey. This isn't saying that what the widow did was good. And I'm reading this thinking, what is he getting at? And it's all driven by this, the LDS
excuse
church.
to make money off Jesus.
Yeah, it has this, don't pay your, like, LDS tithing is bad, and temples, because remember she's in the temple, are also bad. They have to cope with this, like, we don't have the commandment of tithing, and we don't have temples, so we got to, like, somehow, so you're either like this prosperity preacher who calls, shoveling money to him tithing, or you're this Mike Winger type of guy who's like, tithing is a work, and it's evil, and those Mormons do it, so don't do it. There's another one right underneath it from Ken Woodley. He's another guy blogging about this. This was the funniest thing to read. He says, Jesus is sitting there, does not give the widow anything at all, nor does he suggest that one of the disciples should give her a coin or 2. He just sits there watching, and I think he keeps getting madder and madder. Like, what are you talking about? And then he goes on, so perhaps the widow isn't giving from a spirit of generosity at all, but a sense of guilt that is weighed down upon her by the religious authorities of the day. I think, what a bizarre take on the widow's mite story.
But Jesus says exactly why the widow's mite was so important and good. Because she sacrificed more than all of them.
Yes.
And
He's
it's the
praising-
law of sacrifice, which the ancient Jews practiced in physical sacrificed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then now, is practicing the sacrifice of building the kingdom, which is one of the covenants we make when we become Christians. This is not rocket science.
Weird.
Unless you're trying to get around your thumb despite your forefinger or whatever that phrase is,
Weird.
to justify making gross amounts of money in the name of God.
Or to badmouth the Church of Jesus Christ by saying tithing is a work and you shouldn't be doing that. Tithing is bad. Tithing is evil. We don't need tithing anymore. It's in that, I don't know. It's a weird, so you're either a prosperity preacher who wants to just, leech off people, or you're tithing and works as evil blogger. And anyway, Jesus Christ is the third way. He's in between.
Well, here's my question: how much money do you think Mike Winger makes?
I know exactly how much money Mike Winger makes.
Dude, he's killing it on YouTube. He has to be making six figures just off of YouTube.
Want to see that? Okay. Well, if you look in the Discord,
oh, shut up! Really?
you can find the.
You are so fun. You know what I'm saying? You do all of these cool. You do all of this cool digging and stuff. So okay, that was a very evil laugh.
Now I want to say, look, I think Mike
was
Winger.
a very evil laugh.
I think Mike Winger actually. I think he seems like a cool guy. It's just you're misunderstanding the scriptures, brother Mike, and you're trying to make money off this, and it's just not cool, dude. You're
And
making money off
we
the
wouldn't
Bible.
have any qualms with the grift if you were honest about it, and if you didn't come after us.
You're right.
I think
You're
that's
right.
fair. You know what
You're
I'm
right.
saying?
But you literally are profiting off of bad mouthing the Lord's restored church, and it just burns me a little bit. So if you look in the Discord, there's a square with 4 charts on it.
Okay.
And you can look at those 4 charts there.
Is it this square right here?
No, it's more recently in there.
Okay, so hold on. I'm going to pull this
And it's going to
up.
show exactly because
Is that one right there?
No, keep going down.
The next one?
Nope.
This one? That
Nope.
one?
There you go.
Okay, boom.
Because they have to file with they have to file their I-990s.
Okay.
This is Bible Think, which is run by Mike Winger. Now, he thinks he's doing a good
Bible
thing.
thing. By the way, that is such a Calvinist thing to say.
I know.
Like, they love their knowledge. Like, they think knowledge is God itself. And they're always arguing about, but the Greek and then the original Aramaic. And then they can find ways to write articles that say the widow's mite is bad, even though Jesus said literally that it is an affirmative good, right? And their excuse is their knowledge. And none of them agree on anything. You get Vody Beauchamp to talk with the wretched radio guy, to talk with the Mike Winger, and just, you want to throw a hand grenade into a Calvinist birthday party, just literally say, is dancing allowable?
What do you
in
think about
church?
dancing?
And then like, you just watch them go crazy, right? They can't agree on anything except for Mormons aren't Christians,
Yeah.
And so anyway, you're saying, whoa, revenue $846K in
This
2020?
This is BibleThink.org. This isn't his YouTube channel or his church. This is just the Bible Think.
Bible think they always get mad at us for the burning in the bosom stuff. They say, "Oh, you're all feelings," while they're literally naming their organizations all about thoughts. Bible think, you know what I'm saying? That's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
So
keep going.
Yeah. So this is Bible Think. So revenue for 2022 was $850,000 in revenue.
Jeez, man.
Expenses were $400,000. Now, what are your expenses for a website? I don't know.
Well, probably W-2s, because they probably pay themselves a salary. They're probably salaried at least 6 figures if they live in California.
Well, if you scroll, actually, we have another one of those. Now, assets,
okay.
$1.2 million in assets. And if you go to the next thing in the Discord, it shows the compensation for the officers of it.
Really?
Yeah. And it shows our brother, Priestcrafter, Mike Winger, as president right there,
Wow.
making $120,000, and his wife, presumably, Allison Winger, treasurer.
They're
making
clocking
$7,000.
$200K almost.
That's just...
These people are clocking $200K in salary, and then reasonably we can surmise that they're keeping the other $400K of the YouTube. That's $750,000 almost off of Jesus on YouTube.
And then, well, no. That's just BibleThink.com. That's just his website business.
All
That's
right, well,
not anything else.
Lord Radio, it's been fun, but I'm going to hop over to Bible Think and see you guys later.
We don't believe in the Bible, and we don't think. So,
Dude, wow. Holy
that's
smokes.
just that. Heaven knows what the YouTube and anything else does.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, you
Should I go to divinity school and get a fake degree and just hang out with kids all day and call myself a youth pastor and just
trash
wait
other
in line
religions.
Jeez Louise, man.
And just trash other religions.
What's that scripture that King Benjamin said, like, in not the Sermon on the Mount, but the Sermon from the Tower, where he said,
I have labored
I have labored with you side by side with you with my hands.
Yeah.
And there's specific condemnations of this in the Bible as well. I know some people always try and say, like, oh, well, Jesus Christ said, well, the servant is worthy of his hire.
Yes.
Yeah, that's in the sermon where he's talking about not carrying 2 coats with you and staying with people as long as they'll listen to you preaching before you have to go on to the next one. Look, Mike Winger, you want to become a traveling minister that literally walks with only 1 coat to his next place? I will gladly let you stay at my house, and you are worthy of your hire. $800K plus?
Yeah, dude. That's what these guys make. But for Mike Winger here tonight, because we hope that he's listening or that somebody will forward this to him, we have right here from the
they
Bible.
do. Did I tell you that?
Oh, they do?
Hold on. Stop for a second. Yeah. So when I was looking up on Facebook, for, make the thumbnail, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to search Facebook right here. I looked just for Mike Winger transparent PNG, right? And his Facebook profile comes up.
Okay.
All right. And there it is. Look right there. Bible Thinker. All right. Here's Bible Thinker, and it's got his cool little thingy right there. Well, when I clicked on his his thumbnail profile right there, look on the side. The very first notice I saw was by some person named Laura Mars. It says they're talking about you on Mormon radio, Mike Winger, and she posted a YouTube link to what we said. So who knows?
So we know we're watching. Hey, Laura Mars, it's Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints radio. Okay.
That's funny.
Okay. So if he's watching this, we have right here from the Bible for everybody to hear. This is from the Bible. This is Luke 10, verse 4, where Jesus Christ, the same place where they get that servant is worthy of hire verse, and he says, this is from the Bible.
Okay.
Nary a purse, nary a scrip, nary a shoe on me feet, and no hails, mateys, as I tread me way.
Wait, what's the scripture? You're talking about the Pirate Bible, right, Jonah?
Pirate Bible.
Okay, hold
right.
on. So I'm going to grab that really fast. Hold on.
Luke chapter 10, verse 4, and he's talking to his mateys.
Dude, I think it is so cool that all we have to do to bother priestcrafting, profit-based prosperity preachers is just read from a pirate Bible that we bought with our own money and was sold basically at cost. You know what I'm saying? Dude, it's so funny. He just like, oh man, has just such a problem with like money, but like is making so much of it. Like, remember he came at the guys.
That's right.
That
That's right. He came after the guys who make
for
the Pirate
selling
Bible.
a $20
Said,
pirate
this
Bible.
is a money grab. It's
There
like,
was a money grab, and it
that's
was kind of like
heck of a thing for you to say.
you know, like it's an honest money grab that's actually kind of fun and entertaining.
You're
know what I'm
getting
saying?
something for it. They tell you the prize. Yeah.
Okay, so what was the verse again?
That's the Gospel of Luke, chapter 10, verse 4. When Jesus Christ sends out his apostles and he tells them, you know, to not take anything and not take any money, just like you did in Argentina, just like I did in Siberia.
Okay, so which was the verse again? I want to read it in pirate speak.
Luke chapter 10, verse 4.
Nary a purse, nary a scrip, nary a shoe on me feet, and no hails, mateys, as I tread me way. Ahoy there! Wherever ye enter, first ye must say, may this house be blessed with your peace. Arr. If the son of peace be there, your peace shall lay anchor upon it.
Aye.
If not, 'twill turn ye again.
Aye.
No, it's not I. That's Latino.
Oh.
It's arr. Arr. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
So there you go. Right from the Bible itself. You heard it from the mouth.
Wow.
From the Gospel of Luke. Nary a purse, mateys, when you tread me way. So, anyways, that's what we have a problem with. I actually think he seems like a cool guy. He seems like he'd be a nice guy. It's just that many of these people have been led away with that.
Here's my question that I always, because all the time these people want to debate me. And then all they're really doing is just debating the straw man version. It's kind of funny. I show up to the debates. I'm like, yeah, it's not that way. And they're like, yeah, no, but I'll be like, actually, there's a Book of Mormon verse about it. You want to read it?
I've seen you do this before.
You know what I'm saying? And then you just like go to the Book of Mormon and it utterly refutes whatever their little green book that they picked up in the Christian bookstore says, you know, and it's like, I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, bro. You told me my shirt was blue. And I said it wasn't. And you refused to believe me, so I got out a color wheel. And I asked somebody else, I said, what color is this shirt? And they said, oh, it's blue. And he got really angry. It says, but the Bible says that your shirt, and my friend said that you believe it. And it's like, nope. Hold on.
Yeah. What do you do?
That was a really crappy analogy. That was a really bad analogy.
No, but it's something obvious that you know, and you're an expert in. They just want to go back to like 1980s and their own personal experience that they've rethinked and be offended at something that doesn't exist anymore.
Did you say rethinked?
Did I say rethinked?
Yeah, I think I meant rethunked. Was grammatically correct. You know what I'm saying? All right, so we got some comments and some super chats we have to go on to here. Can you catch us up on the super chats?
Yes. By the way, everybody remember to like the stream. We want to make sure that people know about the dangers of prosperity gospel. And we're going to get to, by the way, very soon here, the church's finances.
Oh, I forgot one thing. I'm sorry, before you read those super chats. I remember what I was going to say about what I say to them in the debates. Mm-hmm. And this is my question. I always say, if you were to persuade me right now that your interpretation of Scripture is better and I wanted to change my mind, I have the freedom to do so because I am a volunteer member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And I minister to other people as a volunteer. I can leave out the front door tomorrow. Might get a couple of phone calls from people that miss me. I might have a couple of people that wonder what's going on. But at the end of the day, there is absolutely nothing about my ministry as a Christian to other Christians in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that prohibits me from changing my mind, right? Mm-hmm. But when you start engaging in mini prosperity gospel versus grande prosperity gospel, it's like we're at Starbucks and we're ordering different prosperity gospels, right? The problem with the Mike Winger models is he's just a slightly nicer and more affable version of somebody that is inherently trapped. Because if I were to persuade him, or somebody else were, a Catholic or a Jew or a Buddhist, were to persuade him that their interpretation of the gospel were better, what freedom does he have to leave his position?
Nope.
He has none because he's tied down by money.
Yep.
And by the way, he might say, well, I'd be willing to risk everything and walk out the door. Yeah, everybody says that too. Like everybody says they're going to exercise every January 1st, and then we all end up being overweight all year long. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there is such a thing as cash bias. And sure, maybe it's not trapping you. Maybe trap is hyperbolic, all right? But at the end of the day, heavily bias in a way that corrupts proper reasoning.
Yes, the profit incentive. See, people look at when we're going to get to the church finances and actually shed some light on this much maligned Church of Jesus, the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. But people look at that and they think that, it's bad because the church has money. No, it's the profit incentive that's bad. It's that exactly what you talked about, Cardin. It's when you are thinking, do I say this to my congregation or do I say that? And then your little finances creep up on your shoulder and say, well, you can't say that because you're going to lose money if you do that. You can't tell them the truth about this because that's going to cost you. That profit incentive is the corrosive, it's a disease, it's a virus, and it's something that Mike Winger doesn't think that he has, but he has, and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints doesn't have.
Well, and ultimately, it's one of the biggest defenses that I have of our church because at the end of the day, dude, we've all met the idiot that has said something in the name of God that was kind of wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or done something embarrassing or had a bad take. And, if we got a bishop who's doing his best and he's serving his 4 years and he's a righteous and he's a spiritual guy and he's ministering with those that need ministering, he's comforting those that stand in need of comfort, he's mourning with those that mourn, and he does something stupid sometime, I'm like, yeah, well, the gospel takes bad men and makes them good, takes good men and makes them better, but it doesn't make anybody perfect. And at the end of the day, you want to know what? He ain't getting paid.
Yeah.
He ain't getting paid at the end of the day. And so you can't really come at the guy too hard because he's not getting paid. Whereas, dang, brother, you know who getting paid?
Yeah.
Mike Winger getting paid.
And you know why?
What?
People are getting, you know why people are getting so offended at LDS bishops? You know why they get so offended at LDS bishops?
Why?
Because they don't get paid. Because they don't tell you what you want to hear. Because they tell you what you need to hear. Our stake presidents and our bishops look you down the eye and they say, stop sinning, knock it off, because that's the right thing to say. They don't say, I'm going to lose this revenue if I say this to this member. How do I sugarcoat this? They don't do that.
Professor Samuelson, when I was at BYU, brought up a really good point. Before he got his degree in Near Eastern Studies or whatever, he had to do some kind of interfaith thing. And so he went with his church to an evangelical church similar to the congregations that Mike Winger is in charge of. But it was an interesting time in the church because their pastor had died. And North American Christianity has a big problem right now. The older pastors have not moved over to make room for the younger pastors. So a lot of pastors have gone off. There's been a lot of competition.
Oh boy.
It's really a
hard
butter
to
churn.
believe.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a competitive capitalist business model.
Yeah, right.
That if the young talent, you know what I'm saying, can't get that pastor position after 5 years of sweating it out with the kids, and he wants to make the $95K instead of $45K, he just goes out and he starts his own church all of a sudden.
Jeez, $95K, man, these numbers are blowing my mind.
82% of pastors in North America, 85% of pastors in North America are over the age of 62 right now.
Whoa.
85% is nearly 100%. Like it's crazy. So Mike Winger is actually a very young pastor.
Wow.
Believe it or not. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. And this is the cash incentive. My friend who was getting his degree had to go for like 6 weeks straight to this church. And he went to this evangelical church. And what was crazy was 4 of the 6 weeks, they were auditioning pastors. Because their pastor had died, unfortunately. He was elderly. He had died. And so they had to get a new pastor. So they were inviting pastors to come for these 7 to 10 day increments to meet the kids, to give their talks. And he realized, wait, they're auditioning this guy.
Oh my God.
This isn't like a tour de pastors. They're auditioning him. And who do you choose? You choose the one that tells you what you want to hear. Like, I'm a suburban dad that's overworked. I got a super hot smoking wife. It's totally true. I got gorgeous baby cute little kids, but I got like 3 jobs. When I show up on Sunday, sometimes I don't want some dude telling me that my coping mechanisms are ungodly.
Yes.
I want that chicken noodle soup for the soul stuff. You know what I'm saying?
It's not chicken noodle. It's chicken soup for the soul. Remember?
Oh, it's not chicken noodle soup for the soul?
No, we got made fun of for that last time.
Okay, well, that's the Mormon version. I want the chicken noodle.
But beyond that, but Carton, it's even worse than that because you don't just show up and sit in the pew. You work for the church. You teach elders quorum.
Oh, no, that's true. I'm
Right?
totally a volunteer Sunday school, and I was a volunteer seminary instructor.
You're clergy.
Yes, exactly. We're all volunteer clergy here.
Yeah.
So anyway, he had to go to this evangelical church, and he realized these pastors aren't coming to give lessons to the people in the pews. The people in the pews are going to choose and vote who they want their pastor to be.
Oh, man.
So who is pastoring who? Is it the customers that are voting with their dollars?
Wow.
Or is it the pastor telling them that they're sinning? The Apostle Paul would get chased out of any evangelical church in North America right now.
You bet.
For being too harsh, too this, too that. He never could do his sermon on Mars Hill at Mike Winger's church.
So would John the Baptist.
So would John the Baptist.
They'd all,
Jesus Christ. Like, I saw this hilarious cartoon yesterday.
Okay, now we got to get to super chats and
Brittany,
Yes.
we're on a rant right now.
Yeah, keepers of
You
the
guys
chats.
are always on a rant, and I don't know when to interject. Is it between the rants? Because there's literally none. It's just one rant to the other.
Well, good job.
That reminds me. No.
Yeah.
So we'll just finish up right here. The political cartoon was really hilarious. It showed this pastor on an empty stage. He gets up, he turns around, he says, "Now let us read from the good book." He takes his Bible, and it says, "Now I command all of ye to sell that which ye have and administer unto the poor." And then he closes, he says, "Let me tell you why you don't really have to sell everything you have and administer to the poor."
Oh, gosh.
And the whole congregation goes, "Whoo!" You know what I'm saying? It's like, it seems like the job of North American evangelical pastors is to tell suburban men and women why they don't really have to actually follow the laws of God, because that would hurt both their as congregants business model and the pastor as a pastor's bottom line. So he's literally, as Shakespeare said, one of my favorite lines in V for Vendetta, You know, where he beats up the two guys that were trying to violate.
I know. Three guys, but yeah. Go
Or
on.
the three guys trying to violate.
You
What was her
obviously don't
name?
know it as
Natalie
well as I do,
Portman's character was he says, besides, voila, in view, a humble vaudevillian veteran cast both vicariously as victim and villain by the vicissitudes of fate. You know, besides that, cool. Yeah, that was pretty good. I love the movie, dog. I totally love it.
It's like one of his favorite movies.
I love Vendetta. Fantastic movie.
Yeah. But he also says, thus, through our naked villainy, we do sugarcoat over the devil himself, right? Oh, no, by putting on the vestiges of piety, we do sugarcoat over the devil himself. And literally, the North American Evangelical Church has donned the vestiges of priestcraft and sugarcoats over our need to fulfill Jesus Christ's commission to mourn with those that mourn and comfort those that stand in need of comfort by telling people they don't actually have to sell their possessions and administer unto the poor through lay sacrifice, lay clergy, and volunteerism. No, they can pay a pastor to interpret and Bible think their way out of it, okay? And at the end of the day, they don't actually have to be Christian. They just have to know that the that the Mormons are wrong.
Yep.
That's all they have to know is that the Mormons are wrong.
And Catholics.
That's true.
And Catholics.
Yeah.
All right, Brittany. Getting all impatient over there.
Geez, it's almost like, and by the way, if we were evangelicals, we would stop the sermon in order to have you read the super chats.
Well, maybe we should, because my finger hurts from scrolling. So
Yeah.
I have to keep
there's that
scrolling
many?
back and back and back and back.
Okay, I'm sorry. Catch us up on the super chats.
Okay. Well, first, Jonah, you have to welcome Andreas Ijertus.
Ijertus.
I said what I said.
Ijer.
We have
Yeah.
just received the records for Brother Andreas.
Yeah.
And all those who would like to welcome Brother Andreas into the Ward Radio worship, please do so by putting a W in the chat.
I'm
right.
sorry. I don't know how to speak or read.
Right.
It's all right, babe. It's all right.
Okay. Pizza Doctor.
Oh, word.
I know how to read that. Says Ward Radio rules. When I joined the Discord, it asked if I brought pizza. Fire-baked pizza is my hobby, but since I can't bake it fresh for you all, here's some pizza money for later. Pizza Doctor.
Nice guy.
P.S. Cardin, was Latimer the American Heritage professor you took?
Yes, that I was talking. Couldn't remember the name of the American Heritage professor that I took, who was making fun of the dude's Adam and Eve costume, and it was freaking hilarious. It was one of the funniest.
Bruce Latimer or something?
Yes,
Yeah,
it was
yeah, yeah.
Professor Latimer. Good-looking cat. I think he was in his late 40s, early 50s. You know, super talented family. They did practically a Hamilton show to explain the American Revolution themselves, just with like his own kids. It was crazy, man. It was super wild. He had the whole tri-cornered hat, the like knickerbocker high tights with the like
Knickerbocker?
3-inch heels. Yeah, I don't know what to call it, so we just called it the Knickerbockers. But anyway, yes, it was Professor Latimer. Also, fire-baked pizza is your hobby. How does one make a hobby of fire-baked pizza?
I don't know, but I'm willing to.
Test it out.
Yeah.
Test.
So,
I volunteer
yeah.
as tribute.
I volunteer as tribute for the fire-baked hobby. You know? All right,
Actually,
next
have you
one.
guys put honey on your pepperoni pizza? That is like, Jonah, yes, you have?
Oh, yeah. My kids do
It's
it all the
so
time. I think
good.
they're nuts, but my kids do it all the time.
It's so good. Yeah.
Wow, that is crazy.
Anyway,
Honey?
yeah, honey.
Any more chats? Are we caught up?
Yes, no. Oh, no. Gold Stingray needs to be welcomed, Jonah.
Oh my goodness. We're thrilled to have Brother Golden Stingray. We just received his records as he moved into the ward boundaries. All those who would like to welcome Brother Gold, please do so by putting a W in the chat.
Golden
Also,
Stingray.
no, just gold.
Just
Stingray.
gold. Gold Stingray. Okay.
Jonah, you also need to welcome Scott.
Oh, Brother Scott. We're thrilled to have received Brother Scott's records. He just moved here from what was it? From
Dunkirk?
Fife, from Sterling. He's Scott. He's a Scot. We would like to welcome Brother Scott into the Ward Radio Wigwam. Please do so by putting a W in the chat.
Oh, and you know what? Actually, Pizza Doctor gave us a $50 super chat. Do we still have some of those widow's mites from yesterday? It's actually really funny that you talk about, hey, we have to give the update on the widow's mites.
Oh, we do.
Oh, bro, tell them what happened. Tell them what we did yesterday,
So,
man.
yeah, yesterday during our live stream, we mentioned, so Cardin was digging around in the sands of the Near East
Found him.
and
Found him.
found a bunch of widow's mites
Yeah.
And
I still got some, bro.
And Roman brutas,
Yeah.
which are like widows might like coins, and we're not sure what the widow would have used, but this is the best candidates. And he said that if people were going to, if they wanted one, then they could super chat. And so we had like 13 people who wanted one. It also tested their knowledge of the Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, which is one of the inspirations for V for Vendetta, actually.
Oh, was it really?
Yes,
I could see that. But it was written originally as a graphic novel.
Yes.
But the writer of the graphic novel, Frank Miller, had V as an agent of chaos instead of an agent of freedom. And he didn't like the V for Vendetta movie that the Wachowski brothers wrote because he thought it took the teeth out of Guy Fawkes' character. All right. But I love the movie so much better, and the movie script so much better by the writers of The Matrix, because it becomes a freedom versus tyranny argument instead of chaos versus order.
Yeah,
argument.
I love that movie.
It's phenomenal. It's right up there. It's awesome.
Well, so these people, they donated, they answered the trivia, and so we went yesterday to the post office and mailed them off some widow's mites.
Okay, and you know what? We're going to keep the tradition alive here tonight just because it kind of has to be, only because I made a rule on the live stream yesterday that if you donated more than $20, not donated because we're not a 501c3, but if you contributed to the show, because we are a private entity and enterprise here, all right, we do not lie about our accepting of cash, right?
Will
you know
not,
what I'm
you
saying?
will not gain any favor with the Lord if you donate to our channel.
Here we have an indulgence. One fornication for $20. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway,
Oh boy.
yeah, it was pretty wild. We're waiting for our 95 theses. So anyway, yesterday, the first people to give over, I think it was over $20. Or $50 got an actual awesome certified widow's mite. But there's also other cool small coins that you can't necessarily tell are widow's mites, but they're the same size and shape as widow's mites. And sometimes they're just shards of what were bronze Roman coins that the archaeologists suspected might be widow's mites. Basically, in a nutshell, the widows, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the widow's mite right here. And the reason why I'm doing that, before I do that though, I have to say, Schmau. What was his name? It was Schmau.
Schmau, that's right. Schmau, we don't know your address, Schmau.
Carolyn Wright Gaines Music and Schmau, listen up. You guys gave the super chat, and I told you had to go to wardradio.com and email us and tell us what your username was, so we wouldn't have, somebody stealing your, we're going to mail it to you, and they wouldn't be stealing your thunder and stealing your widow's mite. But Schmau didn't say what his real name was. So we got a real name that we had to send a smaller one. So we want to correct it. All right. We want to correct it. So Schmau and Carolyn Wright Gaines Music, you still need to reach out to wardradio.com and give us your address. We said you had 24 hours to do it, but since we have some extra widow's mites left over, we're going to keep it going alive because probably today we're going to be unloading the rest of them. So to anybody else that gives a super chat today of $20 or more, basically just to cover the postage and the purchase of this big lot, we're giving away still the Roman widow's mite sized bronze coins, which are pretty cool because when the archaeologists can't tell if it's an actual Judeum pruta or not, they just call it a widow's mite sized coin. The original widow's mite, there's about 6 candidates for which of the bronze coins in ancient Israel were actually the widow's mite. Okay, we know that the tetradrachma was most likely the tribute penny that the Jews accepted as the atonement tax in the temple, and it's the one that most likely Peter fished out of the fish's mouth from the Sea of Galilee and so on and so forth, as the New Testament tells you. And we also have an idea of which Roman coins were the different coins of the parables when Jesus Christ said, given to Caesar that which is Caesar's, given to God that which is God. There were only so many coins that had Caesar on it. And the Hebrews, okay, the Jews did not believe in having any of God or man's images on their coins. So one of the most popular coins at that time that did not have a high value and was most likely circulated by the poor widows and would have become the widow's mite was the Judeum pruta, or the half pruta, which was a hand-struck bronze Roman coin that had the picture of a 6-point star in front. And on the back, it had like this, I don't know if you want to call it not a cornucopia. That was the Nabatean coins, but it had another design on back. Okay. That was like an anchor. Okay, it looked like the anchor of a ship, almost like the anchor that you see on sailors' tattoos, like Popeye the Sailor, all right? An inanimate object. They didn't believe in having the graven images of any kinds of birds or living organisms or people or gods, but you could have it of anchors and you could have it of stars and inanimate objects, okay? So it had a star on front and an anchor on back, and that was the half pruta that was manufactured by a Roman authority named Janaeus, I believe was his name. And it was struck between about 160 or 170 BC all the way up to about 60 or 70 BC. So if Christ was teaching in his 30s, all right, it was a coin that was already 90 to 120 years old at the time, which is the same as you finding like a penny from what, 1930 or 1940?
Well, and just so that everybody knows, these things that we're giving away are 2,000 years old.
Yes.
They're thousands of years old.
Yes, and so because they're thousands of years old and they got used so much, they would get so worn that oftentimes they would actually get sharp. One of the things you'll find in these Roman widow's mite-sized coins is the small little shards are actually very sharp. Hence the term Christ said, I think in the chapter 10 of Luke, that don't be like those purses that wear out. Because the leather purses would wear out because the coins inside were so sharp, and they would carry little leather purses on their girdles to have their money.
Yeah.
And the money would be so sharp from being worn, they would actually cut through them. You know, it's super interesting when you get into this. But anyway, so I bought a lot from an antiquities dealer, a lot of, I believe it was like 20 of these things. And we got rid of 13 yesterday, so we got 7 more left, and I want only my members of the chat to have them because they're super cool and they're fun for Sunday school lessons and so on and so forth. Plus, I find it hilarious that as we're talking about Mike Winger's Priestcraft and him getting angry that other people are priestcrafty, that we're here selling widow's mites. It's like we're doing the exact opposite. You know what I'm saying? At cost, we're giving the widow's mites out. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty cool and it's fun. It's a great Sunday school lesson. So if anybody here gives us a super chat, what would you say, Jonah? We went there and we had to get the box. We had $20.
$20
is a safe bet, right? Okay, cool. If you guys super chat us $20 or more, we'll read your super chat on air, and then we'll also give you one of the widow's mites here because I want to get these out to the people. And it's not about making the cash on it. It's about getting it out and enjoying this with other people and having a little bit of 2,000-year-old history inside of the palm of your hand. You know, it's pretty sick.
Very cool.
So yeah.
And now on to the super chats.
Now on to the super chats.
All
Yeah,
right.
hit it.
Okay. Let's see. I think PC says, I'm a member, but I love and highly respect my close friends from other faiths and agree with many things they say.
All right.
Hear,
Good
hear.
man.
Hear,
Good
hear.
man.
We do too. Take all the good that they have and let's see if we can add to it.
Yeah, rock on.
So in the Discord, we have a couple things here. There's a...
There's more?
Yes. These are... they're memes, actually.
We got some memes.
I think that's what the youth say.
Gonna be checking some memes.
Just to illustrate our point here, some memes.
Okay,
You
here
can
we
up,
go.
Let's find...
This one right here.
Oh,
Is this
that's a
one
good... Yeah, here you go.
Okay, I gotta make it a little
Just
bit
to illustrate,
smaller.
just to illustrate a point here, okay?
Okay, hit it.
So first we have televangelists. They say, without widow's money, I can't buy my third mansion. Evangelical pastors, well, my pastor's salary is less than a school teacher. And then the Catholic clergy, my church only gives me room and board for life. And the LDS bishop says, wait, you guys get paid?
Yeah. Dude,
Hey.
bishop in the LDS church is the hardest job ever.
jeez.
Anybody in the chat been a bishop or been a bishop's wife or been the son of a bishop can testify to how much work that is.
Yeah.
Tell us in the chat what it's like. Tell us in
And
the
actually,
chat.
we have somebody sent in a picture. This is somebody from the Discord. The next thing in the Discord right there.
Okay.
Against a black background. This is a portrait of one of our listeners, and we wanted to just quote him here. This is he's saying, "Being a bishop is not stressful." This is from Duncan, age 22. So he disagrees. He says being a bishop is not hard at all. I mean, look at him. Look at him. Doesn't look a day over 96.
Yeah, that's funny, man. That's funny.
Yeah. And then, so...
Okay, more super chats.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, hit the super chats. Keep us at the chats.
Okay, Scott says, when/why did we stop calling people brother/sister first name and changed it to their last name? We started with Brother Joseph. First names seem more personal, in my opinion.
Ooh.
I still
that's-
do first names.
You do?
Yeah.
I was about going to
I
say.
have a theory.
Ooh, what is it?
What's your theory?
Maybe it's because back in those days, a lot of men died. And so if we went by last names, maybe they got remarried, and that might be, I don't know, kind of confusing. So we went by first names.
Huh.
I don't know. I'm
That's
just
a
kind of
theory.
spitballing here.
I do know that it wasn't until John Taylor became president of the church that we started calling sermons talks, because that's the very English way of doing it in the Anglican church. But Joseph Smith always called them sermons.
I like sermons more.
And so, yeah, I think sermons has a little bit more cadence to it. I think it rolls off the tip of the tongue and the teeth a little bit
what
better.
do I Brother Carden or Brother Ellis?
Yeah, I don't know. When I conduct on Sundays, I say, hello, I'm Brother Jonah.
Oh,
I
you
still
do?
go first name, yeah.
Well, maybe
You
you're just
do
more
not,
spiritual.
Jonah.
I 100% do. Brittany, fight me.
Sister Brittany.
100% do.
Sister Brittany.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. So,
Well, now I don't want to break the cadence. So we're going to get to the Widow's Mite report that's going to dig into the finances of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and put a lot of those misnomers to bed. But before we do that, we have something very special here at Ward Radio.
what is it? What is it?
And Brother Carden actually has no idea that this is about to happen. So you're going to see this live here. I did not ask his permission for this, but we can't say it here online when Brother Carden's birthday is. It's not today. It's not today, but it is coming up here. And we actually,
What are you doing, dog?
We actually have a gift for
Brother
Carden.
I literally have my finger on the stop streaming button, and there is a 7-second delay.
We have a birthday gift for Brother Carden to unwrap right here in front of the ward radiologists. Happy birthday, Brother Carden from the ward. Here you go.
Jonah,
Okay, I'm taking the camera off me.
don't
You're-
make
this-
us put
you're
you
gonna
back in the
You're gonna
whale.
love this, Brother Carden. It's something we all pitched in. We all got this for you. We know you love movies. You're a
I
big
see it
Hollywood
says
guy.
Dick Van Dyke in the top right corner.
You're a big movie guy, okay? And
What are
we
you
thought
saying?
that you have all these movie posters in your house, but you don't have this movie poster. And
Okay.
it's a crime that you
Lil
don't.
Nas X. Elder BT Whitbeck. Oh, I get it. So hold on. This is something you made, isn't it?
Oh boy.
That is funny. That is funny. For any watchers of our show, they know that I think we have spoken all too often in the publications of the church about the strippings of my soul and the milk strippings story that is told way too often in church and in gospel doctrine. So here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Strippings of my soul. We got to turn it down so that you can see it. Oh my gosh.
The most inspiring story of the
That
entire
is-
restoration.
That is funny. So what does it say? It says the most inspiring story of the entire restoration. Best Picture Award, Best Animated Film, Best Gore Award.
Yeah, prestigious. Very
and there's
prestigious.
two people. Did you have AI help you do this or what?
This is from the, I don't know, it's from the movie.
Wow.
It's the studio.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it says the strippings of my soul. Angry Camel Films presents an Ellis Energy Drink production in association with Young and Dumb. Casting by a random Google search. Music by Skrillex. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, very good. Good. It was beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Beautiful.
Costume designer Anna Winter, production designer Photoshop, executive producer Ed Thomas, our bodyguard.
That's right.
All right.
That's right.
And assistant grip Jonah Barnes, and then vice assistant grip. I think what you meant, boy, you had vice president, assistant producer, and key grip mixed all into one word.
I don't know.
That was pretty dang good, man. That was pretty dang
Well,
good.
and look at the cast. Everyone, look at the cast in this film. This is amazing that they got this crew together here.
You got 'em all
Dwayne
together.
The Rock Johnson, Marlon Brando, Elder BT Whitbeck, Little Nas X, and Dick Van Dyke.
All right. This is awesome.
Amazing. It's
You
amazing
got
film.
style. What do you
Jonah.
think, Brittany?
Oh, I
Amazing
don't
film.
see my name on there. So I'm just
Oh,
feeling a little left out
Didn't
over
make
here.
the poster. I think
Savage.
no, actually, that's Brittany in a milk bucket costume.
Oh.
That's her right there.
Yeah.
Like R2D2, she's inside the milk jug.
I
She's
forgot. I
the
did,
star. Really,
yeah.
I'm talking about my wife's jugs.
really, you're the star.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Hey, he's the one that taught you.
Okay.
He brought up the jugs, not me.
Going.
You know, I just
So happy birthday to Carden. Just want to let everybody out there trying to steal his identity. It is not today. It is not today.
Oh, that is funny.
But so now you can remember your favorite movie of all time.
But he does have a birthday this year, so
It-
it's
don't give it
appropriate.
away.
I
Don't give it
know.
away that it's
Appropriate.
this year. Don't do that.
I
Well,
really
look.
shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
Look, you know, I'm coming around. If we're making feature films out of the milk strippings, then Thomas B. Marsh is a story that will live in infamy.
Well,
So
now that we've completely
we catching up
derailed-
on the super chats, and then we'll go back to the Widow's
No,
Mite
Jonah,
report.
you have a lot of people to welcome
Oh, no.
to this
Okay.
worship.
Man, why does everybody keep
Welcome
joining
them to
this
the
ward?
warship. Welcome to the warriors in the warship.
This ward is getting too big.
We might have to divide soon.
No, we shan't. We will
Split.
be one
We're
family.
going to split into a. The stake is going to add a unit.
Okay,
Big
ready?
wards are fun.
Armchair arm wrestler. You got to welcome him.
Oh my goodness, we've received the records for armchair arm wrestler. All those who would like to welcome armchair brother arm into the ward, please do so by putting a W in the chat. It's not brother wrestler, it's brother arm,
Yeah.
just so that everybody knows.
Next one is Aaron Driggs.
Aaron Driggs.
It's AA Ron.
Oh,
A
sorry.
Ron, brother A. We would like to welcome brother A into the Ward Radio Wigwam. Please do so by putting a W in the chat.
Okay, wait. Who are these two? I got to make sure I put them the W in the chat. W for AA Ron.
For brother A
And who is the other one?
and brother Arm.
Armchair
And
arm
brother
wrestler.
Arm. Yeah, boom. Here we go. W's in that chat.
Next one, Zach Thompson.
Zach Thompson. Oh,
Zach
is that,
Thompson.
Is that the producer?
I
Zach
think
Thompson?
so, based on the picture.
We're thrilled to have received the records for brother Zach, who just moved into the ward boundaries. All those who would like to welcome brother Zach into the Ward Radio Wigwam, please do so by putting a W in the chat.
All right. W for Zach
Another
Thompson.
W.
Double W.
Okay, and then we have a super chat from Brandon Cole, and he sent $20. So
Oh, thank
he
you,
gets
Brandon.
a widow's
Oh, okay.
mite.
So here we're going to do. Now, Brandon Cole, this is your mission should you choose to accept it. If you want to receive this thing, you have to, and I'm going to put this one right here so we do it much more organized than last time. Okay. Brandon Cole, you have to, I'm writing your name on this list. You have 24 hours to send us, because we went to the mail center, and this took us, what, like 4 hours
It took
last
way
time?
too long.
It took way too long, bro.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Brandon Cole, you have 24 hours to reach out and prove your identity and send us your real name and your real address so we can get this to you. And you better live in the continental United States. We actually had a Canadian and we had to pay like import and export taxes and all
Yeah.
this other weird stuff. Like, what are you doing? Are you shipping an antiquity?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, okay, well, I'm not shipping like, you know, the Spear of Destiny here. All right. I'm not shipping the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. All right. We're not Indiana Jones. I got a $90 coin I'm crossing the border with here, right? So you got to be in the continental United States. You have to give us your real name and address that we can send this to within 24 hours, or else thank you for the $20. That's it. You're a no-show. So Schmau, you got another 24 hours. Carolyn Reitgain's music. We got to get your address. We got to get your address, girlfriend. And Pizza Doctor, you're on the list. I'm putting you down on the list as well because Pizza Doctor hooked us up. And then Brandon Cole, you don't forget your username. We had some people send us an address, but we didn't know their username, so we didn't know which one to give them. So anyway, keep going.
All right, now in the Discord, we have two very important items. Now, this comes from the Widow's Mite Report, just to drive the point home that the Lord's Church is not driven, not infected by the profit incentive. You can go look up the Widow's Mite Report. The Widow's Mite Report is an excellent website, and there's...
Where is it? Can I just Google it?
Sure, you can go Google it.
Is there a link in the Discord?
No.
No, so I can just
Here,
Google
I put the relevant things in the Discord. If you look, there's... I just put it in.
Is this the
and there's-
inflows and outflows right here? Interesting.
Yes.
Okay,
So
right
bring
here.
that. So here you go.
Okay, cool.
So this is a report of 2022,
Okay.
and this shows the church's inflows and outflows. Okay, this is very detailed. This is an amazing job that they've done, and they pieced this together. Some of these are estimates. Okay, but they pieced it together through tax filings for the Church of Jesus Christ. And what they found is, if you look here, fast offerings, they're bringing in $0.8 billion approximately, they think, and that fast offerings goes all directly towards church welfare and humanitarian aid. That's where it goes to. Then tithing and other donations is $5.6 billion.
Wow, that is intense.
Now, what you need
make it
to-
a trillion.
Yeah, it's a lot. Okay, that comes in, and it enumerates all the things that the church does with this. It breaks it down by category. Okay, so it goes to BYU system studies and how much they think. Remember, this is an estimate. How much goes to church administration? How much is saved to investment funds? Now, why would you take tithings and put it in investment funds? Why would you do that? Isn't that
Because
isn't
you
that bad
need
and selfish?
longevity in conjunction with the law of the harvest that was spoken about in Scripture. Like this is This
Yeah.
is basic, responsible Christian behavior.
Yeah. Now, and here's a counter question. What else are you going to do with it? What else are you going to do with it? You're bringing in $6 billion a year.
Well, ideally, what I would do is I would invest it so that hopefully it grew in a very safe and secure manner so that there was even more to use to help the sick, the afflicted, the poor, mourn with those in comfort, and all
that would be the
fulfill
responsible
Christ's commission. Yeah.
Yes, that would be the responsible thing to do. Whereas our detractors would have us just like, I don't know, throw it on the street.
Why aren't you paycheck to paycheck like all the government institutions and the military and the Department of State and everybody else? You got to be paycheck to paycheck so we know that you're just like us and miserable and broken like everything else in this world. How dare you not be miserable and broken like us?
How dare we? How dare we?
Yeah.
Now, if you look, this next thing is the 2021 estimated inflows outflows. This is even more interesting. If you look at this, because this has the farther you get away, the better estimates that you have. So this right here shows that how much they brought in investment funds. And I think it's $24 billion, $23 billion from investment profits. And all those things kept going into the same funds. But if you look, not all of it did. At the very bottom, there's a tiny little slit that comes off the bottom. I don't know if you can scroll down. It's category like G. You see that? Oh, J. See that tiny little thing down there?
Oh, General Authorities Living Allowance.
Here, scroll down so the audience
It's right
can
here.
see
They
it.
can
see
see
that?
it. Yeah.
All of the General Authority Living Allowance, which we are much maligned for, all of it comes out of the profits from investments. So it does not come from your tithing, from your fast offerings, for any donation. This is money that is growing in interest. This is just bonus. The church has decided to take just that tiny little sliver, and look how small it is. You can barely tell that there's any kind of a line there. They take that little sliver, and it covers all of the expenses that they have for General Authority Living Allowance. Now, General Authority Living Allowance, we have another slide on that, in case you're thinking isn't that just like a salary? Isn't that just like Mike Winger?
Oh, wait, no, this is Mike Winger's $200K.
Oh,
Sorry,
oops,
never mind.
Oops, oh no.
Mike Winger and his wife get $200K.
The $850,000.
Yeah.
No, not that one.
Okay.
So there's one, it says, what does the LDS Church pay its most senior clergy? It's way down towards the bottom.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up right now. What does the LDS Church pay its most senior clergy? I'm not seeing the link, bro.
It's not a link. It's just a little... I took a screenshot.
Oh, I see. It's right here. Okay, I'm opening it in the browser
There you go.
right now. Ooh, that's a big one.
So if you look at this guy, it says for 2024, we estimate, remember it's an estimate, that $178,000 in equivalent taxable salary for the living allowance offered to the LDS Church's 117 general authorities. Okay, there's 117 of them. We think they're going to be making about $178,000 in equivalent taxable salary for the living allowance. Okay. With vehicle and per child allowance, we estimate direct GA compensation at $188,000 plus retirement and health benefits. And these payments have historically risen by about 3.1% each year, roughly matching long-term inflation. Now,
so they make as much as a high school administrator if he
Yes.
marries his secretary?
yes. Now, just to make a few
And they're
things clear.
doing a 16 million person worldwide church, and they're not making as much as a high school principal does?
Oh, but there's more. Oh, here you go. But let's dig even more, okay? Number one, it's an estimate, so we're not totally positive. Number two, it's a stipend. It's not a wage. It doesn't go up if you baptize a lot of people.
Since they are lay clergy and their job is so overwhelming, it literally encompasses their entire life. They're forced out of the work pool and they're disallowed to work because of the nature
Yes.
of their calling. And so we actually give them a stipend that is consistent with basically what the Congressional Business Office calls the threshold of economic stress, so that basically they can afford gas, groceries, and a modest home for whatever amount of children that they have.
Supposed to be somewhat congruent with the work that they're putting in at that level.
That ain't 800K. And that's only the 800K that we know about, man.
Well, but the most important thing.
Isn't that crazy? Him and his little congregation in YouTube following, Mike Winger, makes quadruple what Russell M. Nelson does. The profit of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was 16 million people.
17
million people.
Now,
That's nuts.
but the most important thing, and this is the thing that they never get, and I know that you're listening to me, John Dehlin. I know you're listening, RFM. Get this through your thick skulls, guys.
they make a lot of money.
They don't get incentivized. It's a stipend. You don't make more if you do a good job.
There's no royalties. There's no commission. There's
Yes.
no percentage. There's no rev share here.
It keeps you alive. That's it. It doesn't matter.
You can suck at your job and not be a charismatic preacher and still get the same amount of money as the charismatic preachers. What is the proof? Elder Gong makes as much money as as Elder Holland, even though one's a snooze fest. I'm just kidding. Bro Gong, you're a stud, man. You're a stud.
That's
That was just a joke.
Elder Gong.
Elder Garrett.
Oh, that's true.
Didn't we decide first names now? Elder Garrett?
Yeah.
Oh,
Haven't we
yeah,
said-
we could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're not incentivized to do this. Okay, now now what happens if you are incentivized to do it is that all the way down. Remember, these guys who are becoming general authorities, they've spent 40 years in church leadership, selflessly sacrificing, working a full-time job to support their family and their 20 children because they're crazy members of the church, and serving in the church as lay clergy. They do that for 40 years, and then maybe, and they have no control over this, they get called to quit your job forever, quit any income that you're making, doesn't matter, you're done, and you have to, and now you become a general authority to serve the rest of your life until you die. There is not a incentive like, hey, maybe I can make some coin if I give the people what they want, if I bend the truth a little bit, if I let them sin a little bit. That does not exist in the restored Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The profit incentive does not exist, and it does in these other evangelical churches.
Okay.
That is just, I'm so tired of having them be compared. Even Fair LDS did a segment on this. I was screaming at the screen. They were like, well, it's only makes sense. They're doing all this work. Surely they should get incentivized. It's the same way. It's a wage. Our wage is just different. It's not a wage.
No, it's not a
It's
wage.
a stipend. It's not the same thing at all.
It's like
Anyways.
there's a massive difference between an approved 501c3. Like, oh my gosh, these
Yeah, like
people.
everyone knows that.
Yeah. So anyway, keep going. Brittany, catch us up on Super Chats because I have a feeling we got to give away some more Widow's Mites. Thank you very much. You guys, your contributions, keep the lights on. We're happy to hear that you guys are so excited to get these things because we were excited to find them and give them to you. So Brittany, hit it.
Okay. David Lizette says, here's my first super chat ever. I'm currently preparing Pinewood Derby cars for my kids, and they really enjoy the races. I wish our current youth programs had more characteristics of the scouting program. What can be done?
Oh, I've said this many times on this show. It's not just the youth that need the structure of the scouting program. The first Elders Quorum president, both locally and nationally, that takes Elders Quorum seriously enough that he treats it like the Boy Scouts is going to turn around the spirituality of his ward.
Yeah.
Like where the men go, everybody else follows
Everybody
in
follows,
terms
yep.
of spirituality, socially, statistically. I know the feminists hate this, but statistically, if the men can lead spiritually first, then the whole congregation is lifted. A rising elders quorum raises all ships,
Yep.
and it's the most neglected organization, I believe, in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So,
Yep.
yeah. How much is a super chat, babe? Does he get one?
He gets one. It's
Sweet.
$20.
Rock on. What's his name again?
David Lizette.
And make sure
David
you go to the
Lizette.
website, David. Make sure you go to the website.
David Lizette, you got 24 hours, David Lizette, to prove to me who you are. Send us an email. All I need is a copy of your driver's license and your social security number in order to prove who you are, and then a copy of your credit card so that maybe I can go to the Bahamas.
Wow. Your mic's on. Your mic is on.
Yeah, it's funny. No, please send us your address so we know where to send it, and let us know that what your username is. Fortunately, we were able to guess from some of the usernames yesterday who was who, but there was 2 Karens. Remember that one was kind of
Yes,
hard, so
yes.
we had to try and figure out which Karen
Which
was
one
what.
was which? Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. So anyway, don't send me your social security number. Don't send me your credit card number. Just give me your address. We'll send these to you. Priority
Okay,
mail. It's gonna be
moving
awesome.
on.
Yes, moving on.
Okay. Rex Good says, I always called my mother sister mom at church.
Oh,
That's cute.
that's
When I was
cute.
homeschooling our kids, my kids would call me teacher mom.
Oh, okay.
So it's like kind of the same thing. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah,
Get it.
I got
Okay.
it. I got it, babe.
Cool. Okay, I'm scrolling, working out my thumb. David S. Okay, put him on the list. He gets a widow's mite.
Okay, rock on.
He says, Widow's Mite, love the show. You guys are my favorite. Hoping to see the War in Heaven veteran hat in the store at some point. Jonah, on your mission, did you hear of any legends of Christ visiting that area in ancient times?
Speak to us of the legends, matey.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Actually, my mission president when he was over
Are you looking
there,
up that painting and putting it in the
I'm
Discord?
seeing if I can find I
Okay.
can find it. So my mission. Oh, here it is. He found randomly a painting, like ran across it. He was at some art exhibit or something, and he said, "Whoa, what's this?" And it was by an artist who, under the Soviet Union, was obviously not appreciated for religious artwork, for his work. I threw it in the Discord there.
Okay.
And it shows Jesus Christ paying a visit to the Siberians, the resurrected Christ visiting the people of Siberia. And he got this painting and made a bunch of prints and gave it to me. And I hang it in my home. It was a gift from him. And they're the people that I preach to. I have it hanging on my wall in my living room, and I love it. And these are the people that I served when I was making the big bucks like Mike Winger does.
You were making it rain.
Woo!
Hey, instead of saying like I'm a baller, should we just say I'm a winger?
That's right. The missionary money.
Yeah, no, sick, dude.
No, every
Okay.
now and then somebody would offer to buy us a drinkable yogurt.
Oh, dude, those are big in Argentina too.
Yeah,
Drinkable yogurt.
that was the big
Babe,
payout.
you ever had drinkable yogurt?
I don't think so.
It's starting to get a little bit more popular in Southern California.
Huge in Russia.
With-
Isn't that kind of like kefir in a way?
Oh, they have kefir all over, big
Yeah.
time.
What's
Big time.
kefir?
Kefir, it's like a fermented milk
It's like
drink.
a probiotic drink.
It's like a probiotic.
Oh,
In
interesting.
America, they fill it with sugar, but over there, it's
Yeah, drinkable yogurt. It comes in these big packages, and you just cut off the side, and you can literally just drink it. And they call it yogurt. It's
Yeah.
actually pretty awesome, and I dig it. It's huge in Argentina and many parts of Latin America. So with obviously the cultural influence of Mexico, we're starting to start seeing some of the grocery stores a lot of yogurt, and it's actually pretty tasty. I dig it. Okay, let's catch up on super chats.
Well, can I share my tasty drink that I've had overseas?
Oh,
ooh, what's that?
So when I was in Singapore, there was a wheatgrass juice, and it was delicious. And I've never been able to find it. It's not like when you go to Jamba Juice and you get like a shot of wheatgrass. No, it wasn't that. It was literally wheatgrass juice, and it was
just divine, you say?
so good.
I will bet that
Yes.
somebody in the chat is going to say, "Oh, I know what that is, and
Yeah.
here's what it is."
Perfect.
Somebody
Send
will.
it to me.
Our friend Chris Murphy, our buddy Chris Murphy.
Oh, I haven't blocked.
He says, "Oh, do you really?"
Oh yeah.
I'm not done with super chats yet.
Okay, well,
Oh.
Chris Murphy said, "Where is the funding for Midnight Mormons in 2022?" Chris Murphy, unlike the ex-Mormon anti-Mormons that fake that they're religious institutions when in reality they're anti-religious institutions, I don't lie to the IRS and say that I'm a 501c3. Everything we do here is private. You have zero entitlement to any information at all whatsoever about us. And it angers all of the liars.
It
because they're
burns
so
them.
used to being
Oh.
able to just lie and shroud their dishonesty in concern for fiscal security and understanding. You don't get to know crap, dog. And I know that burns, but put that in your pipe and smoke it. No,
Yeah.
no,
That's-
Chris, it's okay, buddy. It's
Sorry.
okay. You'll have a little bit of copium for just a second here, and then you'll come out of it just fine. Man.
Oh, he's
We'll come out of it just
by
fine.
this time he's addicted to copium.
Yeah. So anyway,
Addict.
I know I like Chris.
Guys.
I like Chris. He's a nice
It's
guy.
not
It's just
very
that one.
High vibes.
Yeah, that's very low vibes.
Low
Very
vibes.
low vibes.
I could
Let's
literally feel it.
go. Okay, so keep going. Keep going.
Okay. Donut.
Get
donut.
Oh,
Donut.
Gid donut. Okay.
Yeah.
Says give any coin for this to Fidget and tell her and the mods thanks. The moderators.
Oh,
Thanks.
the moderators of what? You know, we're going to give a shout out for it. She's talking about Discord, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to look this up right now just so that I know, because I'm going to give credit to these mods. And you know what? They get one. They get one. Okay?
Danny
If
Gray.
you guys go onto the website on wardradio.com, we have a robust and very entertaining. Also, in the description of most of our videos and the YouTube channel, there is also links to our Discord channel. And tell us about the Discord channel, Jonah. How many people is it up to? How is it bumping?
Oh, well, it changes all the time, and it's probably a lot more today since we did our live streams. But the Discord, actually, I can tell you exactly. The Ward Radio Community Discord. There's a link to it on the website, wardradio.com. You can go there and check it out. I'm going to come see exactly what the update is on our members. We have some great mods there who are looking after things to keep the psychotic antis from posting very inappropriate things. And let's see, we're up to 731 members in the Discord. The
That's
Discord
awesome.
is divided into a lot of different groups. We have these are different rooms that you can go in. The welcome, announcements, suggested topics for episodes, suggestions for moderators, the foyer, off-topic room, original artwork room, the AI art room, miscellaneous media room, memes and jokes room, Quaku's Corner, which is crazy, Ward Radio episode reactions, which we love to read. Then there's doctrinal-related rooms like testimony meeting, which is awesome, deep doctrine, church news, missionary stories that my RMs tell to me, come follow me, temple discussions, and temple prep discussions and several voice channels. Please, everybody who's in the Discord, try to keep things segmented properly. Sometimes we're getting testimonies in other. No, that's not what problem. Sometimes we're getting AI art that's in deep doctrine or miscellaneous media that's in testimony meeting. Try to keep it a little bit segmented, but it's a marvelous place and there's stuff for everybody there. And it's a faithful place that you can discuss anything about the gospel. It's a safe place because our awesome moderators.
Yes, and speaking of awesome moderators, here we are. She is sleepy most likely right now because she is an Aussie. We actually have 3
Fidget?
Aussies. No, not Fidget. Alicia Brown.
Oh, Alicia?
Alicia Brown, and we're going to give her one of the widow's mite-sized bronze Roman coins. Remember, guys, these aren't actual verified widow's mites. They're coins that you cannot verify they assume due to the same nature and size that it's a bronze coin that could have been one of the widow's mites, but it's unidentifiable, but it's still a 2,000-year-old coin.
2,000-year-old coin from the,
it's pretty sick.
era of Christ.
Or a shard of which. It's kind of funny. And so we're giving one to Alicia Brown, okay? And then we're also giving one to, Polynikes. Oh, we sent him one yesterday. Mm-hmm. And Fidget the Crazy. Okay, so Fidget the Crazy, you also get a widow's mite-sized bronze coin. Here it is right here in the stack that we're going to take to the post office tomorrow. No international shipping. You got, if it's cheap, we'll do it. You know what I'm saying? But if, I don't know, I don't want somebody saying like, I live in a cave in Petra and, you need to airdrop this to me with a drone or something like that, But you guys, yes, in thanks for your moderation, we're putting you in the stack as well. Okay, Brittany, catch us up on Super Chats.
Okay, runner guy with a sign says, love the show. I run holding the sign a few times a week as the result of some inspiration a couple years back, and it's even saved lives. Since you don't live in Utah, I just wanted you to know I believe in you.
Oh, what's the sign say? It looks like there's a sign on his little avatar there. Can you pull it up and can you see it?
With a sign.
I don't know.
Let's see if we can find
it's very small.
It says, I believe in you.
Oh.
Oh, that's cool.
And he's just a dude. He's due to the sign. This sign is for you. Oh, he has a channel. I believe
he has
in
a
you,
channel?
He says.
We got to pull this up, dog. By the way, guys, we only have 8 minutes left. 8 minutes left, and then we're going to go. So if you have any last Super Chats and you want to get... Dude,
I like that guy's sign. That's high vibes. I like
high
that.
vibes.
Yeah, that is high vibes.
Chris Murphy, look at this guy.
Okay, last
like
one's right here. Last one's right here, it looks like. So
be like this guy, Chris Murphy.
Yeah.
I believe in you. What a good guy. Joseph Smith famously said that God never damned anybody for believing too much.
Yeah.
Belief
Carden.
is good. We like it.
Did you put down guy with a sign? Runner guy with a sign?
Yeah, runner guy with a sign.
Okay.
He is right here.
Okay, next Super Chat is Aaron Hinton.
That's
says,
Aaron.
That's Aaron.
Aaron Hinton.
Okay, yeah.
Loving my Ward Radio Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire sauce. Oh, that's awesome.
Dropping new banger vids each day, minus Quaku's apostate takes, of course. Quaku's not apostate.
That's funny.
Endowment stream equals absolute fire.
By the way, Kwaku L prides himself in being an enigma, by the way, people. So he says a lot of things that he's just trying to see if he can strawman or steelman or lead you down this path or that path.
Rock the boat.
He loves when people don't understand don't know where he sits on things. So
don't we all?
We love Kwaku. We love Kwaku.
All right, cool.
Okay, next one is
Chile con stud.
Okay. He says, look up the Schecter letter. Give me that coin, please. I'll send my social security number. Also, Aquarius just went into Pluto, and now the rumor of another civil war. Not a coin coincidence?
Ooh,
Trump
pun.
2024.
He said not a coincidence.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Aquarius just went into Pluto. Hey, Chile con stud. You don't got to send me your social, but you do have to send me your address so I can send you this thing. And I'm out of the stack of widow's mites, but hold on. I think I saved some to give out as giveaways for my Sunday school class. So I'm literally taking them all out. My Sunday school class is going to have to get something else. I'll give them like Reese's peanut butter cups or something. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, this is all that I have left. So Chile con stud. You get one that was going. Oh, that's a good one too. Look at that. Chile con stud. You get this one right here, my man, and it's pretty dang cool. Yeah, so anybody else before we go? This is the last chance I get.
Okay, we need to welcome Ephraim Bigham.
We are thrilled to have received the records for Brother Ephraim Bigham. All those who would like to welcome Brother Ephraim into the Ward Radio Worship, please do so by putting a W in the chat for Brother Ephraim.
All right, rock
From the
on.
tribe of Ephraim, so right on. And actually, that's what Chilicon Stud is talking about with the Schechter letter. So the Schechter letter is it's an apocryphal work. There's a lot of people who aren't happy about it because
Wait, really? What is it?
Well, it's very short. It's just a letter that was written by a Khazar, and it's discussing essentially what it's doing is it's saying that the lost 10 tribes had emigrated up that direction after they were scattered. And we could do an episode on that, the location of lost 10 tribes. But that's what the Schechter letter purports to give evidence to, so a lot of people take issue with that. But a lot
Interesting.
of
Okay,
academics.
cool.
We don't listen to those academics.
Okay, next super chat. Polly Nikes 2000.
Polly Nikes.
Did you all see that Jacob Hansen got an invite from John Dehlin to chat? It was on Twitter this evening, and we should encourage it.
I did not see an invite on Twitter. I did indeed see, I don't know if I'd call it an invite as much as a passionate challenge, an irate challenge during his live stream when I briefly tuned in. But I am going to now check Twitter right now. And you say that he got invited to chat, if that's what we want to call it, with John Dehlin. That is interesting.
By the way, PC super chatted and said, Kwaku is one of my favorites.
Oh, that's good to hear. He's also one of our favorites as well.
Well,
So
no, I'm kidding.
That's funny.
I'm kidding.
I'm looking for this challenge that you speak of.
Okay, I'll keep reading super chats.
Okay, I keep reading super chats.
Tikla says, I'd like my mite personally delivered by Jonah Barnes.
You know what I just realized? We're blocked.
You're blocked by John Dehlin?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever engaged with
Oh,
him.
that's awkward.
You know what I'm saying? That's
well,
kinda funny.
well.
Oh, wait, no. You know what this is? This must date back to when we were Midnight Mormons. Oh, yeah, because I've spoken with him. So that's kind of interesting.
Brave
Yeah,
John Dehlin.
Wow, that's interesting.
Okay,
That's
did you
right.
not
brave,
hear
courageous.
the super chat, though?
Sorry, what was the super chat?
Okay, what was it?
Tikla
Tikla.
says, I'd like my mite personally delivered by Jonah Barnes.
Oh.
This is a good friend of ours, Tikla. She's a marvelous friend of ours. And
Oh,
she
shoot,
loves
you
the
know
show.
her.
Okay, so
good.
Tikla, this is hers right there. Dude, we only got like 3 more in the stack, bro.
Here, hand that here.
Like
hand
4
that
more,
to me.
yeah.
I was
take
going to
this
say,
one.
Jonah's married. My
Yeah,
gosh.
dude.
Oh, no,
Jeez.
Tikla's like best friends with my wife.
Okay, phew.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Okay, Angel Luna sends $20, so she gets a mite.
Oh my gosh, Angel Luna sends $20.
Yeah, and you got Tikla down, too?
Okay, yeah, so there was Tikla right here.
Well,
so
no,
this
I
one's
got hers.
I know you got it, but this
We're
is my
good.
system. I just don't want to mess
okay,
it up.
okay.
So there's Tikla, and then Angel Luna, you
Yeah.
say, babe?
Yeah.
Angel Luna. See, we're going to be able to put the address on here, and then we'll know that we're doing this right next time we go over to the post office, and we'll be a little bit more organized. Look, we got the Leaning Tower of Babel, but it's like the Leaning Tower of Widow's Mites right here. It's kind of cool.
Now, in
So anyway, keep going.
regards to John Dehlin and Jacob Hansen, John Dehlin has a PhD in dirty insinuations.
Savage.
That's his entire shtick. His show should be renamed Mormon Insinuations. That's his entire shtick.
Or the
guy,
Ex-Mormon Stories podcast, I think is what you're trying to say,
like
right?
like he has zero talent except for just accusing and destroying. Like that's his just MO.
Well, I don't know, man. He's got 216K. Like he has the craft down.
yeah, he
See,
sure
I'll
does.
tell you right now, dude. I'll tell you right now. a lot of people, it's like when Barack Obama, when people would say, oh, he's so stupid. He says, no, dude, it's not stupid. The guy's a genius. He defeated a freaking incumbent candidate in a senatorial election and then was able to squeeze a presidential candidacy out of it within less than 4 years. And then Donkey Kong just utter like King Kong
beat the tar
smash
out of
the
John
competition. And John McCain, a war veteran, he took the most unimpeachable candidacy that nobody wants to go up against. A war veteran, right?
Yeah. Now anybody,
And then he just comes in like Hammer of Thor, like just Chris Hemsworth, like raw.
Oh no,
And
that's
he did it all without being overt. It was all kind of like insinuatory.
Sure.
Yeah, man.
John Dehlin doesn't have a tenth the brain power as Barack Obama, and that's coming from somebody who doesn't like Barack Obama.
I don't know, dude. If you maximize what you're doing, I got to tell you, I think the guy's a genius.
Well,
I
if
think
you
I think
watch-
anybody that I think the guy's a genius.
So John Dehlin, he was responding. So Jacob Hansen made an excellent video regarding the confusion in the church surrounding the church's current LGBTQ policy, who's in charge, and what do we do about this and that and stuff. And it's an excellent video. And Jacob did a marvelous job. I thought it was awesome. We both watched it and said, wow, that was really well done. He does a great job. John Dehlin watched the video, agreed with everything that Jacob said, and then went on a psychotic, brain-damaged tirade about how Jacob Hansen is murdering children in their beds or something. Like, he just goes nuts for like 5 minutes, and the people in the chat are like, yes, queen, throwing chats at him. You're like, you're psychotic. You agreed with everything Jacob said. You took no issue with what he said. But he's just like,
it was a I think what you're trying to say is that it was a frustrating misrepresentation where when Jacob was obviously calling for clarity from our leadership, it was twisted into being an indictment of previous activism or this and that. Like,
it's insane.
It was red meat for the base.
Yeah, you got to watch this guy. I mean, it is just a classic example. It has nothing. He agreed with Jacob Hansen about everything, and then he's like, "But Jacob Hansen's a bigot." And you're like, "Well, you're psychotic."
Well, you got to call him a bigot.
Of course, I mean,
because he's calling into question the secular ideology of gender theory. So you got to call him a bigot, or else you're not a social justice warrior.
Psychotic. I mean, it shows. Carl Jung said, "People don't possess ideas. Ideas possess people."
That's true.
You want to see somebody who is possessed. John Dehlin. John Dehlin, I call him an ethomorph. My son.
Wow, you're going hard in the paint on John today.
Don't.
What's going on, man?
I shouldn't get going on John Dehlin. I can't swear on this podcast. So
I'll tell you right now, I view it with the same frustration that I do with the Mike Wingers of this world. I view these people as trapped. Like, they're not prophets into a congregation. They're people providing a service that it's almost like having to deal with voters or with customers. You know, you're not really at liberty to say what you think. You're only you're required once you're that cash biased to say what you know they want to hear. And actually, one of the reasons why I think he is so good is because he has the 1980s to early 2000s suburban niceness culture down to a T. Okay. And he knows what the social justice crowd and the woke crowd wants to hear. And he's able to convert that language of secular wokeism into the Utah Mormon culture at large and leverage a lot of Utah culture's failings, frankly, against the doctrine of the church. And he's able to convert successfully Utah cultural arguments into doctrinal attacks. Yes, they're very small, specific twists and so on and so forth. And some of them he might be 100% sincere on because he's basically from Utah. Yes, I mean, he grew up in Texas and things like that. But at this point,
he's a man. He is empty of original thought. He is 100% possessed by this idea that everything the church does is evil. If Russell M. Nelson was eating a chocolate ice cream cone, he would have a 3-hour-long fundraising podcast about how chocolate ice cream is it is a vestige of the patriarchy, and it only goes back to 1978. 1978, I remember I was sitting in the pews, and I was heartbroken and crying. You were like 3 years old in 1978, John. Get over yourself.
Wow.
And going back to all this historic racism that the church... The guy's a psychopath who can't get this out of his head. And this is the worst part, he's flipping boring.
Oh, you're a savage.
He's just boring.
I push back on the psychopath analysis. I think he is a genius. He found his lane.
Lots of psychopaths
and
or geniuses.
He's, I don't think he's a psychopath. He's found his lane and he is capitalizing on that lane. And frankly, the lack of leadership in modernizing without secularizing our culture and our church has provided a wide open lane for him to function very, very well and be successful. If our church had adopted to the internet and had guys like you and me traveling North America, going from stake to stake, talking to youth committee, and every single day on YouTube, there was a new video pumping out super cool content from young, hot, fresh, cool, faster, better youth in the church and so on and so forth. They would have so much fun just being entertained by each other on YouTube and socially engaging with each other on YouTube and so on and so forth, that the John Dehlins of this world would be considered a snooze fest and nobody would tune in. But what happens is our young men's presidency, God bless them, and I wish them every success in their new social media ventures. But at the end of the day, we're in 2024 and they just barely got an Instagram page.
Yeah.
You know, meanwhile, I look on Instagram and homeboys sporting hundreds of thousands of followers, and I'm like, well,
dude makes millions. Now, what we need, there needs to be some kind of a channel that is Dehlin Stories podcast, and it's just people talking about how their families were ripped apart by the doubt bombs and the lies that John Dehlin peddled for decades. The dude has made a living. He has a wake of broken families and weeping mothers behind him. He wants to pretend like they're not there. He dragged teenagers into nihilism. He helped promote teen self-deletion all across Utah by telling them that their parents actually secretly hated them. All their youth leaders are actually out to get them. They don't have an eternal worth. He dragged them out of the culture and tradition of their parents and their fathers, where they were safe and happy, and fed them lies so that he could profit off of the tears of their mothers. I have zero sympathy for people like John Dehlin. People like John Dehlin are going to have to answer to the Lord Jehovah for what they did to people. This is not an innocent crime of what he's doing. Like, I was just speaking my truth. He has turned this into a lucrative business. He is the ultimate Nahor, this guy, John Dehlin. I have no sympathy for this guy. And I could forgive something if he wasn't so eye-bleedingly boring.
Oh, jeez, savage, man.
If he had any original thought, he's still going back to 1949. He's like, remember this one letter that they wrote and it was kind of mean. It's like, I'm supposed to be upset about this?
Well, I think the frustration is the standing on the graves of people that have engaged in self-harm with, frankly, data that has been wildly biased and has been proven wrong. Like, it is actually proven that LGBTQ youth are better, more well-adjusted, have less self-deletion ideas of, I'm trying to avoid the YouTube word here. Ideation of self-deletion, that especially religions that have rites of passage produce youth that are better and more well-adjusted. They have less obesity, more longevity, so on and so forth. You are actually more protected, from self-harm, from within, and then also harm from without, as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The only problem is there's a very large social media incentive out there to say otherwise and to get hits and clicks, because all of a sudden it's this salacious narrative that you just can't put down that frankly the world wants to. And he's done a good job of also capitalizing on getting viewers from outside. I think one time I was watching a podcast, it comes across my feed every time it comes out, right? And sometimes I'll watch for a minute or two. And I just remember that it was like at one point like 20 or 30% of his show, I don't remember the exact stat, but I remember it was something impressive, was non-members of the church. And and he can successfully hyperbolically misrepresent the church and our doctrines and so on and so forth, that you start getting the Scientologist effect, where people tune in just to watch the train wreck. I mean, when you watch Going Clear and you're like, what?
Right.
They did that?
Right.
And you watch Leah Remini and Mike Rinder and so on and so forth. He tried to overtly compare us to Scientologists for a while by cozying up to Leah Remini and to Mike Rinder and so on and so forth. That never really took off because you can't. But you can successfully misrepresent all this stuff in the middle enough to get a pretty big YouTube following that who wouldn't want to tune in to hear about the polygamous people that are still trying to usher in a theocracy that is racist, bigoted, homophobic,
Yes.
and all that other stuff.
It's so Hollywoodian.
It's like a science fiction movie. And what better person to believe than the affable activist who was excommunicated for his advocacy and now just wants to humbly submit under the auspices of informed consent. His stories, which, as you brought up before, are kind of impeachable, because if somebody wants to tell a story, then there's no real...
They can say anything they want.
You can say anything you want.
They can say anything. And even if it were true, let's say it is true. Let's say that there was some Mormon Stories podcast where they didn't just drop insinuations and hyperbolic statements about some imagined crimes against them decades before. Let's say that it was 100% true. That's not what you do in a court of law. You don't say, the defense rests.
This is again where I say... he's a genius.
I know the guy's smart. I'm not saying the guy's not clever.
Brother. See, this is what I worry, and I love Jacob Hansen. Jacob Hansen is one of the most intelligent people that I know.
Super smart.
Okay. Quakuela has been to the end of the internet. Jacob Hansen has been to the end of every mental exercise and every logical conclusion of every idea and every doctrine out there, right?
Yes.
But that would be a misaligned battle. It would be a misaligned battle because niceness culture demands the how. In niceness culture, the Joint Chiefs of Staff can sit around, and as long as they're all in shirts and ties and they're talking to each other respectfully and they're nodding their heads and agreeing and everybody's getting along nicely, and they can all vote to judicially drone strike an American citizen summarily without any kind of trial. And that's okay because, the wise and the nice has voted on it. It's great. When your society is so wealthy, you don't care about the what. You care about the how, all right?
What feels good.
And as long as they're nice about it, and he comes across as nice.
Let's do a
Whereas, and see, in Vietnam, the reason why the Americans lost was because, I can't remember what official said it, but he said we were fighting a misaligned war. We were fighting for a military victory while they were fighting for a public relations victory over the nature of our soul.
Yeah,
and they won because they were able to change the world's view of America. We were no longer the righteous arm of God that went in to kill the Nazis. We were the mean, oppressive capitalist that was coming in to try and...
Yes, you're right. It was misaligned.
It was misaligned. So John Dehlin wins if he makes Jacob Hansen out to be a bigot.
You're right. Yeah.
Jacob does not win if he proves that he's right, because in that process, he could step on a landmine that becomes the YouTube short that is played all over the world. So I still haven't processed this whole challenge yet. I'll be honest with you.
So let's.
I still haven't processed it yet. I'm wondering what's going to happen, and I'm here to watch. But yes,
so sorry. One I'm real passionate about this. So Jacob Hansen, if you meet the guy in person, is the most genuine, kind, happy person. It was almost like he's bubbly. He's the nicest guy. He has ministered in private to hundreds of people for nothing his entire life. He's a seminary teacher. He's worked with the young men. He's been in a bishopric. He's ministered personally and directly to people, soul to soul, his entire life. John Dehlin, and he did it, by the way, Jacob Hansen did this for nothing on his own because he wants to be a true disciple of Jesus Christ. John Dehlin, for money, has publicly just sprayed doubt bombs, sprayed a machine gun of doubt across total strangers out in the ether, for which he has no responsibility, no accountability for the dustbin of nihilism that he leaves these poor souls in. You can destroy things easier than you can create them. Jacob Hansen has been creating goodwill and building youth up to be strong and confident.
I think what you're trying to
adults.
say is what Sean McCraney asked RFM, where he said, when you tear down somebody's faith, what responsibility do you have to replace it
exactly
with something? Because it's just scorched effing earth out there, is what he said. And he said, I realized when I was taking away people's faith that I was leading them into nihilism, to self-doubt, self-termination, so on and so forth. And I realized I was wrong for doing that. What responsibility do you have? And then he promptly quoted Cain and said, I am not my brother's keeper, which...
Yes, John Dehlin has scorched that earth. He has a wake of weeping mothers behind him. who
Well,
every
now-
Thanksgiving are crying over this, and John Dehlin has no freaking accountability
Well,
for any
this
of it.
is- this is-
Meanwhile, Jacob Hansen is slowly trying to plant flowers in that earth and replant the thing, and it takes a lot more effort and a lot more time. And John Dehlin gets to sit here and make a ton of money like Mike Winger and all these jerks. He makes all this money off it, pretending like he's being virtuous and altruistic and helping the little people out there understand the great gnosis that he's discovered. Meanwhile, Jacob Hansen is in the trenches with young people, building up their confidence and helping them, train them into being good adults, well-adjusted with solid testimonies and belief.
I feel
There's
really
no comparison.
Weird. I feel really weird, like I'm some kind of strange John Dehlin apologist right now.
I just,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm
It's
not
like-
you. I'm
I'm not.
Dehlin, man. Just,
No, I get it. I'm not. It's not a defense of the guy as much as I'm saying this is the way the argument goes, and this is why usually we lose that.
and you're right.
Because
you're right.
nobody talks about the damage the left does.
Yep.
Nobody talks. And by the way, this is why I give credit to Jim Bennett. In our last interview, he said allyship can go too far. And allyship goes too far when X, Y, or Z. And I would encourage anybody in the audience to watch that exchange that we had. Always the argument goes, someone that's a social justice warrior, somebody that's woke, somebody that's a secularist that hates the church, throws an attack or a bomb at the church, and then the church member or the active person tries to unravel the argument and defend it and defend it and defend it, instead of saying, hold on a second. If you're worried about the harm of LGBTQ youth, why aren't you telling them to stay in the church?
Yes.
If it was really about defending the church, here's the real stats. Not just some internet survey, not just some survey that was done by a friend of yours as part of a dissertation by a woke group of MBA people that hated the church and gave it to you at Weber State. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Here's the stats by Pew Research, scientific organizations. Like, nobody ever says what the left does to hurt, what the Exmo anti-Mormons do to hurt their family members, what wokeism has done to hurt Mormon families, and nobody holds them to task because as soon as they've like defended, like they're always on defense and never counterpunch. And I think that's actually why this show has gotten under so many anti-Mormon skin, because we're the first show that has called out people. Like, dude, we called out Scott Vance. Freaked out on us. He's probably never been called out.
You called out RFM to his face, which was delicious.
Called out RFM and Bill Reel to his face.
Delicious.
Like, Bill Reel has called us every name in the book. But then when all of a sudden we challenge him to a debate, there's this back and forth. He ultimately backs out. I show up with a microphone ready to do. He wouldn't do it.
Wouldn't touch it.
Wouldn't touch it. So nobody ever says what happens when the left goes too far.
You had Jonathan Streeter on here, and Jonathan Streeter honestly, genuinely said what John Dehlin could never bring himself to say. Jonathan Streeter said, when you destroy someone's faith...
I think he would.
Well,
I think the guy has come around on a couple of things and has been humbled by the past year's worth of experience.
No, but he'll tell himself to his dying day that he was doing this great service.
We all lie to ourselves.
By putting up, well, that's what Carl Jung was saying. He's possessed by this idea that he's some kind of a champion for good and helping these young people. He is destroying families for profit.
Should I invite him on our show?
John Dehlin?
Yeah. I got to tell you, I would have a constructive conversation with that. I would have a constructive conversation with John Dehlin. I'm trying not to.
If he came here, you know, on your turf, you would give it a fair shake and you'd have a conversation.
Well, first off, I would give anybody a fair shake.
No,
I think one of the biggest stupid criticisms of Donald Trump was, well, he meets with dictators, to stop war.
Sure.
Heads of state have to do that. And it's kind of weird, and I'm sure the official church hates it, but us and this little circle of amigos that we got, we're the only defense of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on YouTube.
Yes.
So it's like, I mean, if Trump can meet with, what was his name?
Kim
Jong-un, you know what I'm saying? Then fine. Like, us can meet with their top 3 podcasters. I can meet with John Dehlin or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I would do that. I would do that because I think there's questions that have never been asked of the left. And I don't want to put them into political terms. You know what I'm saying?
But you did it to RFM. I mean, you did it to, you right to his face.
I would,
said, what accountability do you have for the souls, for the families that you rip apart And he had no answer. He just said none.
No, that was Sean McCraney that asked that of him.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Great.
So
Well,
anyway,
you pushed him on it.
I'm hanging tight on the John Dehlin thing.
But somebody out
Because
there,
there's a what'd you say?
somebody out there needs to make a channel called Dehlin Stories Podcast and just interview weeping mothers who never get to see their grandchildren ever again, who never get to talk to their sons or their daughters at Christmas time because John Dehlin has fed them a slow drip of doubt and hate for decades.
But see, also, I push back on that, and I'm not going to get in a fight with you on this, Jonah.
Oh, I'm going to fight
But
you.
no, but see, my only problem
Tiny.
with that is the Christian right in the 80s and 90s said a lot of things that sounded very similar to that. MTV is poisoning the minds of all of these youth, and they're not showing up. When in reality, they had to look inside, and they had to look at themselves and the divorce epidemic, their consumerism, and all of that crap that came along with 1980s Christian right is what was driving the kids into rap, what was driving them into MTV. And it wasn't that was taking their kids away from it. It's that their kids didn't want to hang out with them because they fundamentally disagreed with them and they were hurt because of the divorce epidemic, right? I don't necessarily think John Dehlin or any of those podcasters are driving the disease.
Oh, I completely disagree. 100%
I think they're
disagree.
no, okay, actually, no, let me take that back.
100% disagree.
I don't think they're the principal driver. I think they're a manifestation of the move. No, we're stuck in a question of, does art influence society or does society influence art? The truth is they influence each other. So we don't know exactly if it's the Dehlins of this world that are driving the argument as much as they're just following the crowd, and just being a better job at podcasting.
Or giving the
what people
argument
think.
a huge radio tower and broadcasting it to millions of people. Right here in the chat.
He relies on subs. People have to voluntarily subscribe to him.
Yeah.
To me, it's evidence of an ideology. And at the end of the day, because I'm a huge personal responsibility guy, if the Christian right were doing its job in the 80s and 90s, there would not have been a divorce epidemic. The only reason why gay marriage was on the table in the early 2000s was because we had so bastardized what regular Christian marriage was amongst the heterosexuals, and we'd already made it into some kind of just socially acceptable excuse to have sex with your girlfriend, that it was no longer this great Christian thing.
You're right.
That was
You're right.
was an excuse to have children and raise them up in faith and righteousness and so on and so forth. We'd already converted into just a secular tax code benefit. So why shouldn't we just give it to anybody else that wants to? Because we had already ruined the definition ourselves, right? So I look at
opportunistically, they came in and they capitalized on woe that was created by a greater
because
wickedness.
we had sucked so bad.
Okay,
and I
yeah,
look at our church, and when we're sporting Instagram profiles in 2024, God bless them, and I hope that Instagram profile blows up. But dude, I remember being in New York in 2009 when Instagram was bought by Facebook.
Okay, now hold on.
And it's
hold on.
We left that battlefield open. Joe Biden left all of the helicopters for the Taliban. Is the Taliban bad? Or was the irresponsible president who left 250,000 RPGs and tanks and helicopters for our utter enemies against us and our allies just for free to be taken? Whose fault is it really? The Taliban or us?
Now hold on just a minute.
Okay.
It isn't Joe Biden who's pulling the trigger to kill that girl in the town square in Afghanistan for an honor killing. He's not doing it. He gave him the gun like a moron, but he's not pulling the trigger.
That's true.
Okay?
That's fair.
John Dehlin is the guy who scoops all this stuff and shovels it out for everybody to believe.
Do you see what you did, Paulie Nikes, with your silly little super chat? It wasn't even a $20 super chat to get a freaking widow's mite. It was a $5 super chat.
But look,
and now we're going to get clipped 10 times and put on the Mormon Stories podcast,
But
put
look,
on blast by all the anti-Mormons.
But right here in the chat.
And I'm going to get angry phone calls.
Right here in the chat, there's an anti-Mormon. Okay, right here in the chat. Well, there's tons of them. And the guy says, LOL, my dad can't visit his grandkids because he's a bigot. Classic example. His grandkids. Taking your children away from your parents. How brave of you. You should be ashamed of
I've
yourself.
seen the text messages where girls have gone off to college, learned about patriarchy, and then literally told their dads, until you renounce your views on X, Y, or Z thing, like, I'm not showing up at Thanksgiving dinner because I don't eat with bigots.
Now, I don't believe for a second that Nathan Bigler's father is a bigot. I think that is a load. But the dude is depriving his parents of seeing their own grandchildren because
that's
of his,
Nathan Bigler?
his disgusting
that dude's
pride.
toxic. Yeah,
disgusting pride. And
Ignore.
John Dehlin, these are the type of people that bankroll John Dehlin. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. My parents can't see their own grandchildren because of stuff like this, and it breaks
Really?
my heart. I have no patience for this.
Well,
These
fine.
people-
What's your story, bro?
Look,
you
look,
say
look.
that we need a channel with stories. We're already in freaking overtime here.
Joe-
Brittany, if you got to go, you can go. I'm
Oh.
sorry, babe.
Brittany,
I'm
would you
sorry,
calm
go.
down?
You
Would
guys
you calm
remember
down?
I'm here. That's good.
How
Would
can
you
we
settle
forget? You're
down for a
beautiful.
second
Oh
here,
my
Brittany,
gosh.
please?
We love you, babe.
This is a family podcast, and you're freaking out.
I'm getting cranky because I'm tired. There's super chats to be read. You guys are just talking my ear off.
Okay,
Like, I
finish your
don't-
story, then we're going to move
I'm
on.
sorry, and I
Finish your
said
story.
don't bring up
no,
John
but
Dehlin
let's
or I'm gonna-
finish your story, and then we'll move on.
But this is what they do.
Hey, look, John Dehlin had his rant on Jacob Hansen, your buddy today, my buddy today, so you can have your rant on
Of
him,
all the
right?
people, Jacob Hansen, are you kidding me? Good grief. The
He
guy
he goes hard
spends-
in the paint.
He spends every minute thinking how to make the world a better place, personally, directly. Those guys you're criticizing, no, you're not criticizing, but those young men's leaders have spent
Finish
50
telling.
years.
No, you got to tell your story. You got to
Right.
tell your story.
Right.
I didn't know this, but your grandparents can't. Your parents can't see their grandkids.
Look, what happens is, I don't want to get into too many personal details, but
Hey, well,
what-
you just said there needed to be an entire channel dedicated to this, and that's why he's a genius. John Dehlin gets people to cry on camera about how horrible they were treated by the right, and then but that empowers the left, and then the right gets on and says, "Oh, well, I'm not going to do that because of X, Y, or Z thing." So you end up having a disproportionate battle in which all of the
you're
tears
right.
are cried on the left, and it makes the right look like a bunch of jerks, but nobody talks about what happens on the right at the hands of the left. So you have a misaligned war.
totally misaligned. And one of them thrives off emotion, just like you said. And one of them is right. And Jacob Hansen is right. And John Dehlin is wrong. But John Dehlin is going to he's going to abuse, he's going to do whatever he can to further his message of destroying happy families. His entire life, on his tombstone, they will carve, destroyed lots of families. When he was excommunicated as stake president, held up a file folder filled with names of mothers who had their families shattered because of what John Dehlin was spouting.
Okay,
Now,
are
that's
you going
one
to tell your
stake
story
president.
yet, or what?
Sorry, I told you not to get me going on John Dehlin. So, no, my story is simply this. People do not possess ideas. Ideas possess people. John Dehlin devotes his life to
So
spreading...
you're not going to tell your story.
I'm not going to tell
You're pulling
personal details about my story.
Yeah, see?
But my
see?
parents-
That's the problem. They're willing to get out and throw their dad under the bus and say, "Oh, my mom was a bigot that enabled the patriarchy," and they're willing to cry on camera and make the right look like a bunch of hateful bigots, and then when the left does that to them, the right won't come out and complain. And I don't know if that's if we are worshiping the same golden idol of niceness culture if we're not able to show what they do to us too.
Look, I know I'm prioritizing my own family's feelings over these public
Well, then
points.
maybe they need to realize that they're not just saved from the ravages of a spiritual war by refusing to believe it exists or being uncomfortable with the methodologies necessary. But this is why I think John Dehlin is a genius.
Sure.
He sees this field of play. He wants X, Y, or Z thing, and he capitalizes on the biggest weakness of North American Christians and Mormons, which is their unwillingness to violate niceness culture. It has become a golden idol that has replaced doctrine. And personally, I think sometimes Jacob goes a little bit too hard in the paint compared to what I would feel comfortable with. But at the end of the day, he's doing something that nobody else is, simply asking questions. The video he made, I've disagreed with other videos and I've disagreed with other methodologies, but he only asked questions in that video and quoted the church leadership themselves and challenged what we're supposed to believe based off of their actions and their questions. And I think his video that got so much attention today was unimpeachable. And if more people would do that, I think the world would wake up a lot more. And I also think more people literally need to cry on camera and tell the world how the left has hurt them so that people understand how far it can go and how much damage it can do so that people understand that the left can go do far.
I agree. And last thing I'll say is somebody listening to this, let this be the day. Let us all remember this day when you got the idea for Dehlin Stories podcast. Please, somebody.
So Brittany, take us up with super chats.
I literally can't. I can't scroll back that far.
Oh, Brittany.
Fine, I'll scroll back. Can you scroll back,
R.J.
Jonah?
Johnson. That's where we left off. We need to read R.J. Johnson.
R.J. Johnson. Okay, hold on. I'm going to move my stack of Widow's Mites
Something
right here.
about he's going to come pick up his mite in person. I don't know the rest of the super
Oh,
chat.
as in R.J. Johnson. Okay,
Yeah.
as in the writer of Los Books.
Something about Harry 3 Payne. That's all I remember. Probably
Okay,
not
cool.
in that order, but that was his super chat.
Oh my gosh, look at everything here. It is absolutely cruising. So I'm going to scroll back up. And you said it was R.J. Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's in orange. I'm pretty
It's in
sure.
orange? Okay, here we go.
No,
we got,
not that one. You gotta
well,
go
I'm going to do this
farther.
one.
R.J. Johnson's before that.
Okay, I know, but it's as far as I can go. So Febby, she gives us a super chat. So Febby, she says, Elder Gong is one of my favorites. All right, Febby, you get a Widow's Mite right here. Okay. And then we've got...
RJ,
yes.
I'm sorry. We couldn't read your full chat.
We got Tikla. Okay, we already got Tikla.
Yeah.
I'd like mine personally delivered by Jonah Barnes. Febby G, Elder Gong is one of my favorites. Then Matthew Murray, is there any chance for a Ward Radio debate between Jacob Hansen and Jim Bennett on the recent LGBTQ stuff? That'd be both valuable and entertaining. Whew, I am really trying my best right now. I've been working very hard trying to be a diplomat between both sides of this argument. And I have faith that both will come together sometime soon with my assistance and a little bit of pride swallowing on both sides. And then Chai Hodson said, is the $20 cumulative? Thank you for making my task so much more bearable this evening. I am going to ice my hand now. What happened? Or was he just like flying in the chats
Flying
with his
in the
little
chat.
Okay,
No,
so he
'cause
gets one too.
She's cutting all the lowercase a's.
Oh yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
that's right.
people.
Right. Okay, so
Come
Chai.
on.
Okay, so Chai Hodson, right? So Chai Hodson, she gets one too. There's
You
only
also skipped Polly Nikes. He said Jacob Hansen is Dehlin's reckoning.
dude, I would say, bro, you come at the king, you better not miss. And I got to tell you, I don't know. I would take much more seriously my I would not dude, I don't know.
He's a master at taking
Guys
it
that
and
have been
using it.
through war, when young bucks talk up like that, they're like, oh, I think twice before you said that, kid.
There's
you know?
no question Jacob's smarter. Jacob is rhetorically, logically, philosophically, and theologically
It's a misaligned
way more
war,
sound.
bro.
But I agree. I think it's misaligned. That doesn't even matter. His viewers, it won't even matter. They just want the, ooh, woo, get him, John. And he's going to be like, remember that one time 80 years ago there was this one letter? Woo!
Okay, let's keep going. I got to give away these widow's mites. So,
I think we're caught up.
I was about
We
to say.
probably have missed some, though.
Well, no, we haven't, because it keeps all of the ones.
Well, you couldn't
that-
find RJ's.
Yeah, but it was less than 20. All the ones that were 20 or more were kept up there.
No, because he got a mite. He sent a super chat saying, I'll come pick up my mite in person.
Oh, he will?
Well,
Okay,
while
then
you're
this
looking
one's
at that-
his. This one's his.
And while you're looking
All
at
right.
that, guys, the best ministry is personal, direct ministry. That's how Jesus Christ did it. Jesus didn't buy a radio station. We do this just to help people be confident in their faith in the restored gospel of Jesus Christ, because we know it's true. We're not afraid of anything. But the best ministry is personal and direct ministry, and that's something John Dehlin does not understand. Something he doesn't. You can destroy people easily with a big machine gun barrage, but we're glad that you're giving widows mites. Your widow's mite is in your own ward.
I feel like you just gave him a YouTube short by saying he does not understand this. That can't be defeated with a measurable quantifier, and therefore it becomes his word against yours. And if he defends himself in a nicer way than you sounded attacking him, it now becomes a misaligned battle, and he looks like the nice guy who's defending himself. I'm telling you,
Nobody
bro.
cares what I think. John Dehlin doesn't care what I think.
Yeah, but if he could put you on blast to his 250,000 followers.
He'll use anything and everything to make Jesus Christ look evil. The guy is an ethomorph.
Okay. I get it. I got to finish this live stream.
Right.
Paulie Nikes 2000 says Hansen at is as Matt Walsh's angry uncle won't miss. That's true. Sometimes I think that he looks. Shoot.
Oh, widow's mites flying everywhere.
I'm dripping widow's mites, bro. Thinks that what's it called? What was I saying? Crap. Here it is. Yeah, he looks like he needs a show on the Daily Wire. And I got to tell you, he's a bloodhound, and he sniffs this stuff out and he compiles it. The video he made today, I do believe, was an unimpeachable questioning of our church leadership. It was not an attack on anybody. It was not a treatise. It was not a manifesto. It was a questioning of our leadership and holding our leadership's feet to the fire in a way that, frankly, I don't think anybody has. The establishment hasn't done it because they're so busy trying to vilify them as bigoted. You know, I thought his video was must-watch philosophical and religious YouTube for 24 hours. And everybody needs to go watch it. In fact, I might just put a link to that video in the description now that it ended up talking. Gosh, we talked about that for like 30 minutes.
Sorry,
you know
I told you don't talk about John Dehlin. I can't help it when you talk about that guy.
Hey, no, look, their wokeism has left a trail of blood through conservative households in the past decade. And
through mine.
Through yours,
Through
yes.
Mine.
Through
Not
mine
not
as
fun
well.
to watch your mother cry about not seeing her grandchildren. It's not fun.
Yeah,
It's not fun.
exactly.
And that's something that John Dehlin never has to see. It
Well-
happens out there. He never has to deal with it, and he can just pretend
Well, conservatives won't
it's
talk
not
about
happening.
it. They won't talk about
Well,
it, and they
you're
choose
right.
to suffer in silence. So,
Dehlin Stories podcast coming soon. Brittany Ellis is the hostess.
okay, cool. Anyway, RJ Johnson says, I paid $20. I want to do Hide the Pain Herald 3.
Yeah, that's what it was. I knew there was
Yeah.
something about Harry and Pain and 3. I don't know.
Well, look, yours is the last one, RJ. You got the last one right here, bro. We're all out. So thank you very much. What's a widow's mite, says Jared V. Just hopped on. Love you guys. In a nutshell, my man, I explained it earlier, but basically...
Jared, you had to slip that in there right at the
yeah,
end.
Right at the end. The widow's mite was a coin that was...
Just hopped on.
Hey,
guys, what are we talking about?
There was a widow in the temple who was giving donations into the temple. She didn't have a lot of money. There was a bunch of priests and wealthy people that were putting in money in the temple, large quantities, but she came up and she gave her mite, which was a very small penny. Jesus Christ saw it and said she has sacrificed more than all of these because she sacrificed out of her poverty, so on and so forth. It's a beautiful story that talks about the law of sacrifice in the New Testament, something we try and practice as Christians in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Now, without any further ado, everybody, please like this stream. Okay, we got to get out of here. Unfortunately, we need you to like this stream before you go. I'm looking. There's still almost 300 of us hanging out. We only have 150 likes, which means there's another 150 likes to go. So please make sure that
Wait.
you guys...
Okay, I get to talk because
Yes.
dang. Sheba Inferno says, thanks for stretching out these last 8 minutes, guys.
Oh, jeez. I tried to stop,
Oh
and then
my
Jonah.
gosh.
I'm sorry.
Jonah.
It's just a little, it's just,
I'm literally exhausted over here, mentally, physically. I'm sweating. Like, I
Yeah,
I
Elizabeth
gotta
Baker
go.
says, you are not alone in that, Jonah. I have seen my mom cry many tears over the last 3 years for that same reason. Hey, well, I think conservatives need to get over the discomfort of sharing personal stories in order to expose what has happened in the name of goodness, the very bad things that have happened in the name of goodness and social justice, or else you will forever be fighting a misaligned battle that only continues into the future. And sorry, conservatives have to get over it. And until they do, they will continue to lose. And I do not think that is a noble effort. I think that's a cowardly endeavor.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, it's been real and it's been fun. Paulie Nikes, way to slip in that last super chat, man. Hansen is our Nevada Highlander Ammon. Dehlin better get his A game ready. Can't read that
No
very well. It's
arms
cruising.
ready.
Okay, so a Nevada Highlander? Aren't the Highlanders from Scotland? Oh, well, hey! Jacob does look a little bit Scottish.
Yeah.
I'd be fearful of him if this were Braveheart. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, yeah, I'll be curious to see if it happens. If they want to, maybe I'll help facilitate that. I don't know. I still haven't processed everything today yet that happened. So I want to reserve my personal opinion until it happens.
We know that we love Jacob Hansen. You all should go subscribe to Thoughtful Faith.
Okay, bye.
Okay. All right. This has been real and this has been fun. It's been real fun. As always, for this and more, please check us out at Ward.